this country starts early. It works hard. It stays focused. It keeps moving. It stands ready. And it carries the weight. Strong coffee for a strong nation.
All right, second time's a charm. Welcome back. Here we go. Let's get our layouts right. Welcome everybody to Beyond the Possible. Let me make sure I say the right name right. Change the names and stuff. Well, not changing, but new show. And we got James came back, and Ray, Radical Truth, is here with us tonight to tell have some just fun chat and conversation about who knows what. We'll put cryptids in the title, and then I figure just whatever we decide to talk about, we'll talk about. Steve in England and Brother Willie, I appreciate y'all coming back. On Mr. Duffy, appreciate you. Y'all coming back. Miss Karen on the Rumble. Hopefully the Rumble crew will come back soon. We had a big group over there, and yeah, it happens.
Technology is fun.
Technology is fun. Sometimes, yeah.
I just let them know in Discord that we're back up and running.
For sure.
Nice.
There we go. I dropped the link there. So yeah, we're gonna have a fun tonight. For sure. Ray, guess we'll start off and tell for the ones that don't know, tell them a little something about yourself and your show. And
Oh yeah, I'm Ray, the host of the Radical Truth podcast. It's strictly on Spotify because I'm a corporate slave. So I talk about some wild stuff. It's a conspiracy theory podcast. We do everything from aliens, ghosts to government cover-ups, and I've been hitting it. We just hit a year and a month, and we just hit our biggest podcast over at 73,000. So I'm pretty excited. I had Ashley and from Knights of the Storm on there, along with Lou Santini. So we kicked ass on that one. So that is my podcast.
Nice. Yeah, Ashley's in the group chat right now. She's
all right. It's my girl. She's great. Hey, Ash.
Sure. And James, everybody knows James, the paranormal expert of the known universe.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I do a podcast called Salsido Paranormal. Looking for names looking for things to name the show, and so many paranormal words are kind of already taken. So I just went with my last name and paranormal and called it good. And I just cover people's experiences, personal experiences, and all just various topics within paranormal and whatever I can, and go from there. But yeah, thank you for having me on, Ricky, again.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. We got people lined up for the next few weeks now, so it's gonna be good. Mr. Duffy, he'll be here Wednesday. Some Bigfoot footage and videos and live, real testimony and stuff. So it's gonna be a fun show Wednesday. So y'all make sure everybody listening, make sure you come back. And it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It won't be. We'll take a break from politics Wednesday too, I guess. So what I tell James, this show's less Trump, more Bigfoot. So.
There you go.
I may have to be there on Wednesday for that one as well with you, Ricky. I usually do extra recordings each week, and I can just forego the extra ones and join you that night. It sounds fun.
Good. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'm not sure who all be there with us, but
well, because that's one thing I haven't had any experience with at all. Any kind of Bigfoot, cryptids, creatures. I've never really had any experience with that, but I know people that have, and so I'm always fascinated by that topic.
Bigfoot's my jam. I love Bigfoot. I went on a Bigfoot exploration back in my 20s up north, which was wild. And then I had an uncle in Florida who wouldn't let us go out into the woods at night because he said there was the skunk ape, which is Florida's Bigfoot. So I mean, I have big foot patches and stuff on my gym bag. I'm kind of ridiculous about it, but I love it. So
Nice,
we'll be listening.
nice. I was gonna say, I said, what I'm about to ask that. What is y'all's favorite cryptid? I guess the one you're most interested in. I guess. Well,
James,
you
you
already.
want to volley that one first?
Well, I guess, but you already said Bigfoot on there. What about you, James? What's your?
Oh man. Um, I I guess to me the ones that are, I mean, really, I don't know. It's hard to pick, but I've always been fascinated by any kind of winged humanoid figure sightings. Not that I want to have one necessarily. I think favorite cryptid and cryptid you want to have an experience with are not necessarily the same things, you know. Um, but just always been fascinating to me the idea of these creatures that appear to be somewhat, or even mostly in some cases, or even barely human, but they have wings and they appear to fly. And but then sometimes the wings move, and other times the wings don't move, but they're still moving through the air. So that whole thing is fascinating to me, and all the, of course, the whole Mothman of West Virginia, the Point Pleasant, that whole situation, and all the weirdness that surrounds that area and that whole time period. I forget now when it is, but it wasn't just when that was sighted in the area. There was more than just that going on. There was UFOs, lights, reportedly Men in Black sightings. So all this other high strangeness, weird stuff going on at around the same time. And I just wonder, is it all connected? Is it not? I mean, if it's not, then that's quite the coincidence. So I don't know. I don't really lean toward coincidence as much anymore now when it comes to all these things. But yeah, I think just the winged humanoid thing is just fascinating because it still pops up every so often, to this day.
I don't know why people give people so much shit about like Mothman happening. People can say a pterodactyl existed, which was like a 15-ton flying dinosaur, but if you bring up like dragons or if you talk about Mothman or Bigfoot or anything else, any kind of cryptid creature, they look at you sideways like you're nuts. So yeah, I'm with you. But yeah, Mothman's another good one too that people always talk about that I think would be interesting to kind of deep dive on.
That sounds good. Yeah, I think for sure. It were they didn't have the term like dinosaurs until the late 1800s. So a lot of the stories and stuff. I believe there were really real dragons. Why would the Chinese calendar have every other animal that's real and have one that's not? Um,
Right.
what they are calling for the dragon and stuff, and there's dragons all around the world. It's in England and in Europe there were dragons. And in Asia there were dragons, and it's got to be a little more to it. And we know that there was a time that things were a lot bigger, for sure. Um, and of course, in some of the dinosaurs, how they just some of the dinosaurs are kind of funny. They just glued stuff, especially when they first started. They just gluing stuff together. Like here's a bone of this and bone of
Yeah, I've
that. And
heard
yeah,
that.
that's what this is. And
Well, the
you know,
Smithsonian doesn't have a single dinosaur, like fully completed dinosaur. Most of that's just plastiparus they put together, which they've admitted. So I'm like, so it's all
hmm
bullshit.
yeah, when they do get um, skeletons of good stuff, they actually like get rid of it. Like they did with the Alaskan boneyard. They just threw that stuff up in the Hudson River and like, oh, we don't want this, and instead of us giving it back to the guy, like, here's your stuff back. Let's throw it away. Like, what? How? You know, uh, they are so questionable. Of I don't believe anything comes out of Smithsonian anymore. There's
That and
nothing.
NASA, it's like
Yeah,
making
yeah.
both hands. Not a space agency. All of it's bullshit. Anything government like funded or an association with, I don't believe. Because the giant thing, the fact they say giants aren't real, when we keep finding all these bones all over the place. I don't know. I won't get on a tangent about it. Sorry. We're back to cryptids, but yeah,
Oh no, I mean
Smithsonian's
that's
full of shit.
we can talk about giants too. Long as it don't, it's, you know, to your point.
I have to bring this up though because before we had the show, I was doing like a deep dive on TikTok. It's on TikTok, so take it with a grain of salt, to kind of see what's trending as far as conspiracy theories. But did you guys hear about people that are opening boxes of Velveeta cheese and like macaroni and cheese, that they're finding all these conspiracy theory cards inside of these boxes. So people are hearing about like KKK, they're hearing about the Illuminati, and they're just inside these boxes of Velveeta cheese, which is fucking wild. I can send you the video, Ricky, if you want.
Yeah, yeah. No, I haven't seen that yet. I have
Huh.
not. I don't get on TikTok a whole lot other than
Because
I
you have a
upload.
brain.
I upload. Yeah, I just upload to TikTok, and that's it. I don't even look at it, you know.
His
And
brain
I feel
rot.
bad. I feel bad because people will send me messages, send me videos or whatever, or like a buddy of mine tagged me in a video the other day, um, kind of making fun of me, but it was all right. But it was um, a buddy of mine, his little Shirley's boy, and he does like comedy and stuff like that, and he's doing it too to try to help put infamous on my channel because he's got like 300,000, 400,000 followers and stuff. So he'll tag me and stuff every once in a while, just being silly, and then I'll go back and talk mess to him. Um, and then always comment on his stuff on my pages, like with that's his gym page, actually not gym pages, but the podcast page and stuff. But that's yeah, that's wild. Somebody's trying to get some information out there that
Yeah, I just send it to you. Like usually I hit and quit TikTok too. Like I just post and ghost and get off of
mm,
there because people talk so
that's
much shit.
it's
Uh,
just and there's a lot of this like silly stuff too. The silly stuff that's on there, it's like that people just aren't very bright and they're trying these dumb things. It's like it's gonna get
there's
hurt and
there's a girl in there right now that she worked for Uber Eats. I'm talking right now while you find that video. And she got Uber Eats. She went to a guy's house. His door was open. She went into his house and he was naked on his couch, passed out drunk. She filmed it and then posted it on TikTok and said that she was sexually harassed. And then she got banned from Uber Eats. She's like, I lost my job. Trying to say that she was SA'd. It's like, can we say on the show, fuck it, sexually assaulted?
yeah,
When
yeah.
this
Go
guy
ahead, let
was
her rip. We ain't hiding shit here.
This guy was just drunk, ordered his food. She's supposed to leave it outside. She went into his apartment, and then she's been going on TikToks, getting like a GoFundMe. And the fact that she videotaped this poor guy who's like drunk, he's like pants were around his ankle. I don't know what he was doing, but just like on his couch, and she's claiming sexual assault. I'm like, this is brain rot. Why is this going viral
I
on
mean,
TikTok?
she's just trying to get paid, but yeah, she did. She walked in the description, I seen that, and and it was like you're supposed to stay outside. You're not, it said on this thing you're not supposed to go in people's house. I think that's their rules. You're not supposed to go in people's houses anyway. That's how you do get assaulted and that kind of thing. And but I think she was trying to do it for clout or something. Maybe she seen through the window. Maybe she thought because she was a woman and she could, get everybody on her side, and it's
God,
backfired on her, and she's lost everything. Um,
haven't
if I,
women
if
learned?
I was him, I would sue her, and
Yeah, he is. She's
you
gonna do
know,
jail time too.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I was like,
I mean, she broke and entering in his house, and she over here filming him naked, uh, and like,
I've got Me Too fatigue, I think. You know what I mean? I think I'm just done with. I'm not saying it didn't happen. What would happened, it happened. But like some of this stuff now, women, I'm like, stop. It's not a good look for us.
hmm
Stop making, you're not
it's
sexually
making the
assaulting.
ones that had something happen look
Hmm.
bad. It won't. People won't look into it. They won't. It's the boy that cried wolf syndrome, and that's what's going to happen. It's like you got so many people like blah 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 blah, and then
Yeah.
and because nobody, well, you hear it so often, it gets done. You get numb to it, and it's like, well, whatever. And it could be terrible stuff, but because there's so many people like her, is it crying wolf, and nothing happened to her. She put that herself in that situation.
Yep.
She wanted to do this situation. It was because she's the one within the house. She's the one pulled out her phone, wanted to videotape it. I'm so sick of seeing people videotaping everything. I did save a
No.
video for Wednesday where it was pretty cool. A guy, it was a shark washed up on a little small, little small shark, and was and I guess the wave pushed up on the beach and was sitting there. And instead of pulling out his phone like everybody else was and videotape him, he actually went out there and picked up the shark and put him back in the water, kind of deal. And it was like, man, so many. It was. Um, I seen another one. I seen where it was crazy. I don't know if you've seen it, Art. There was a bar. There was a bar, and it caught on fire, and 40 people died because they were just looking at it and pulled out their phones and videotaped it and kept on dancing and like thought it was
Right.
like part of the show, I guess. I don't know, but the 40 people died because this bar burned up and like fell on them and stuff, and it's like maybe it's
Yeah.
maybe that's our way of you know
Natural
survival.
selection.
Yes, natural selection, the survival of the fittest, kind of thing happening.
Your cat's making an appearance. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
get
she's been
how
sitting right
people.
here hiding for a second.
People always, want to live in the moment. Like my phone broke the other day at work. One, it was great because I told my boss, like when I was driving, like, hey, I'm not at my desk right now. I can't, I got a moment of not being bugged. But if you just put your phone down and actually enjoy it, because you're actually not living in the moment, you don't need to film everything to remember it. Like when you own fireworks, people are filming that shit. Do you ever look at that after 4th of July? Fuck no. You know what I mean? It's like, put it away. It's done.
Yeah, we were talking. We had a conversation at the gym the other day, and it was a few of us outside the gym, and we were talking about that, and it was like, and we were talking. Um, Me and one of the other coaches and talking to a couple of the students, and we were talking, and and Mr. Fisher and I both kind of said it, the way we need to you need to have a you need to have that moment of grounding. He's like, if you can, once it warms up, you get out there and actually ground yourself and just sit there and be quiet. And then even if you are in quiet, like if you go to the gym, like even if you need quiet in motion, um, and so you get on the exercise bike, but you don't put the headphones in, you don't put the earbuds on and jamming music. You actually just quiet. And I was like, I do that. I was like, I'll get on my bicycle. I haven't in a little while. But I did it a few weeks back. It was still warm and stuff, and just get on a bike and ride, and just I
Yeah.
get out and start riding. And I used to do it when I lived in Memphis. I'd ride up to 50 miles in
Jesus.
on a Saturday or something like that. Just ride all the way down to the Mississippi River and come back. And we had a green line, so there was trails, paved, trails going through the city on certain parts, and just ride my bike and just whatever, no music, no nothing, and it's all in the moment kind of thing. So it's good to get back to you know that peace and quiet and take all the distractions and all that kind of stuff out because we need that balance, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like the holidays are now over, so like I think now you can maybe make that a New Year's resolution just to be in the moment. Speaking of, did you hear that they're saying that there's not going to be a Christmas next year? That's another conspiracy theory. Did you hear that? Have you heard that all over TikTok? That if you
Nah.
ask Alexa about Christmas next year, that there's no Christmas anymore?
I need to plug in my little Echo and see what she got to say. I had to re-download that app and everything. I had it for a little bit. I had it. Um,
Don't do it. They'll be listening to you.
yeah, I'll put it. I used to have it. I had it in my bathroom, so it was like my alarm clock. I could hear it. And when I had my old house, and of course since I moved over here, I just like, nah, I ain't worried about it. But um, but yeah, I could hear it. I remember one time I was in the other room, and all of a sudden somebody said on their podcast. I was listening to a friend. I was watching a friend's Gigi show, and Gigi said something about Alexa, and all of a sudden I heard my thinking thing in the bathroom go off and start doing shit. I'm like, what the? Shut up over there. And I
I have
started.
had
I messaged. I said a chat. In the chat, I was like, look, Gigi, you set off my damn Alexa talking shit.
I
But
got rid of Alexa because also, I mean, this is older. It's not so much about what we were prompting it. My ex years ago, he was part of the account, and when we split up, I was asking Alexa like places to go, like with my friends, and he got all the prompts on the account, so he showed up where I was. So I'm like,
Oh
that's it.
yeah, no.
I'm done with Alexa. I'm not doing this shit.
That's and
Yes.
there's reports of like those devices saying weird things like people think it's paranormal, and I don't discount that possibility, but also it's a computer. Computers can be hacked,
Oh,
and
Okay,
I
yeah,
just
people say AI is demons. You know,
yeah,
but
and I don't know. And there are some examples I found of situations where it's like messages or songs that are played um, at seemingly either at random or to go with a conversation that does seem to track with a recently deceased relative. So that's where I don't discount the possibility of it being paranormal. I just think there's all as always it's all the possibilities. So yeah, there could be some people hacking those things and making them do weird things like laughing or whatever. I've heard reports of that too. But then I think sometimes there can be the paranormal stuff. But either way, just because of all the technical stuff that can probably be done with them, I don't have one either. I used to, but I don't. I don't even know where it is now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the chat go off. No, I'm not saying I agree with everybody for the Christmas thing. I'm just saying because if I believe that bullshit, everyone also thought there was going to be the rapture this year too. Like people were selling their cars, getting rid of their apartments. I'm like, if you read scripture, you're not going to know when it happens. So, like I said, when it comes to TikTok, grain of salt. Like,
Oh,
but it's just
absolutely.
funny.
Did you see the guy where he built an ark?
Yes.
And he built an ark and had a bunch of people giving him money, and then he turned around and bought a Lamborghini or something like that with it.
Jeez.
But he did buy the ark.
McLaren.
He did build the ark. He had people help him build the ark, and they said it was going to be and it was like, what? And you really people, come on, uh,
I
if you,
mean, have it as a backup, but like don't like I don't know, like you're money laundering people, telling them because people are so like vulnerable right now with everything going on in the world. It's just Jesus, it's nuts.
no, I hadn't heard about the Christmas though. I mean, like I said, I don't get on TikTok. I really don't. I barely get on. Uh, I barely get on. I get on if I see something like on Facebook, like I'll see a video, I try to get on I get on Twitter and look it up, so I'll have it like all in one spot and try to find it so I can save it. I'll save videos. I find different places, but I try to find them all in one spot, so it's easier for me to like show on the show and stuff like that. But yeah, it's wild. I don't know. The big thing, I seen another video today, talking about Project Bluebeam. We
Yep.
make people worried about Project Bluebeam. Now I'm on that boat. I really am. I think, especially with you know stuff going on and everything, I still think Bluebeam is on the way. We're gonna get some fake UFOs or something coming for sure. Uh,
Something's coming.
you know, because they had the three eye atlas and all that, and
What happened to that? I haven't heard shit about that.
it passed by us and kept on going, and it's did its thing like it does every year, every how many whatever years.
I'm shocked that the aliens didn't come and land from
Yeah,
there.
it's supposed to be draconians. Damn it, we wanted the
Yeah.
draconians to come in, and you know,
Speaking of draconians and like Three Eye Atlas, I still want to. I think people need to talk to the Hopi Indians more because there was a on TikTok again, like I said, because I like to stress myself out. It was just today. I usually just post and ghost, but someone said they saw like an ant man, kind of like an ant person, alien, and it reminds me of the Hopi Indians talk about how they went underground with these ant-looking people, and they're saying they're coming out of the ground now because something's brewing in the like Middle Earth. If you believe in inner Earth theory, anyone here besides me on inner Earth theory?
I'm curious. You hear
But
all
yeah,
these stories and stuff. I'm curious on the inner earth, like maybe like we've got hobbits and stuff down there. I don't know. It's we've heard too many things, and then you got Admiral Byrd, supposedly went down there.
Those two kids that came up that were green, that could only eat green beans, and one died. And they talked about living in a civilization like way down in the caves for years and years and years.
and Bigfoot has been seen going in and out of caves. Um, cryptids, other creatures, seen around caves or around like coastlines, like in, half out of water. And we know there can be caves underwater. Um, so yeah, and I mean, going back to that, people around the world from before any place was settled, there's reports of Bigfoot-like creatures all around the world for going way back. So I don't doubt that's possible. And yeah, with the caves and everything, caves. I mean, if you think about all the different kinds of minerals and stone and crystals that are in caves that can hold or generate or give off energy, and then you have water in a lot of them. Moving water can generate energy, so all these things connecting. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Do two things. One, the biggest, if you look at the missing children, they're usually near a cave, or
Mm.
like a cave area. But do you guys think that Bigfoot is interdimensional? Because we can't find him. We see once in a while we get like a little, blurry vision of him on a drone. But so many people have seen him. So many people believe that he's real. I don't think there's that many people that are crazy because I've listened to a Bigfoot podcast. Nobody judge me. And they always talk about people that get on and talk seem pretty normal. Normal. It's not like they're smoking crack and live on the streets, and talking to the wall. These are normal working people, and they talk about just going fishing or they're not getting anything from this. So I wonder if it's an interdimensional thing.
Oh yeah, I
Man,
think it's definitely possible. Sorry, Ricky. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead, James.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, there are reports of them, people, and it's the same really with a lot of paranormal stuff. A lot of times you hear, you know, from people or read stuff from people, and it's just they're going about. So often there's this trope of if you're having an experience with anything paranormal, then and this is just like I guess from skeptical people or just people that don't want to believe or whatever. It's fine, but there's this trope of, well, if you were looking for it, then you must have been into it already.
Oh God.
You must have been looking into it and you know through fiction or whatever, and so it must be influenced by that. And yes, there are influences from fiction. However, there's people that have experiences that were not into that kind of fiction. So, but yeah, I think that all these things can be interdimensional. Um, just we don't know how all of that works, how all energy works. Um, and so yeah, I think it can be interdimensional, and you know that's not to say they can't also be physical at times.
Yeah.
Because I've heard of cases where they actually will like make physical contact with people and you know for good or bad, save them or in rare cases hurt them. But you know I think they can be both. I think they can come in and out as they want to, and that's probably how they vanish behind or appear from behind trees that are just big enough to cover them. But then when people go around that tree wherever they saw them, and they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, see Mr. Duffy said he gonna tell us about some paranormal Bigfoot experiences Wednesday about moving items right in front of his eyes invisibly,
Hmm.
and so that's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, I think um, it's like our oceans. We don't know really what's in our oceans. We really don't. We have no truly what's at the very bottom, and then deep down they always find new creatures. In our cave systems, we don't really have a our cave systems aren't mapped whatsoever. That we know of. I mean, maybe super secret, you know, government crap, but there's so many cave systems and underground cities that and like in Turkey, they found a whole underground city. Somebody that was had held 20,000 people, and you turn around and you hear about it all the time in history about cities underground. We finding more and more. So it doesn't surprise me one bit of having underground, people just living there, and then possibly you know, and adding to them, maybe with the Middle Earth and stuff like that because the oh cat that's hurt.
Well, like
Um,
there's like the Tartarian theory. Sorry, as you're getting like just completely
stabbed.
at right now.
Little
You know
sharp
too
little
much,
kid
Ricky. You're
toenail
talking
here.
about the wrong things.
There you go.
Okay, bye, kitty. No, like the Tartarian theory. Because when even just now, like Seattle, they built like downtown Seattle. I don't live there, but I used to live there. Like Pike's Place Market in downtown. The other cities were still underneath. They just built on top, and they're
Yep.
saying keep digging like below. That there's other cities underneath. They're like, fuck it, let's just build on top of it. Even a city that I grew up in Boston, they just flooded the whole city and built on top of it on the mountains around, and became the reservoir for the city. So I think there's so much like buried history going on with that. And back to Bigfoot, I mean, or just the ocean you were talking about. We only know what 7% of the species in the ocean. No one's doing any funding. Anytime someone tries to go below, for some reason, those giant those little like submarines keep blowing up. Ricky's laughing at something right now, so I got distracted for a second.
Sorry, sorry. Carl said I was shadow banned because Shadow the Kitty has banned me
Oh, that
again.
was really good.
There's
Uh,
lights too that are seen going in and out of the water. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a whole other subject
that
too.
that inside of mountains,
And
like the
that's why
cave
volcanoes,
system,
I've heard of
like
that too.
they, you know,
Yeah.
that's why I think mermaids are real. I mean, one, if you want to go, I'm not a big evolution girl, but evolution, with the aquatic ape theory. I mean, I've talked about this before on my podcast with like Pangea, when everything started, the continent started splitting up. There were certain apes that started doing more fishing and they're going deeper and deeper, deeper into the ocean. And they started building like, bigger spleens. I think there's some tribes that actually have bigger spleens because they dive so much and they can hold their breath for long periods of time.
Huh.
no,
And apparently they swim with dolphins, and we hear about it all the time. I don't think they have like big tits and long blonde hair or anything, but I definitely think that there is a possibility for mermaids.
Well, that goes back to what I said earlier too about. So I found I'm always looking for true stories on online to share on my show. And I don't know, a year or two ago, I found one. Someone said they were on a beach somewhere near not beach, sorry. They were near a coast somewhere, and they saw these. I think they said it was like purple or blue humanoid figures, like half in, half out of the water.
Jeez.
Kept on coming up and further to expose like just the chest part, and then going back down and under, and then up and down. And they were just this weird color, and they had like glowing eyes, but they were humanoid. Somewhat, at least the top half was. So that's like a sighting from recent years. So I don't yeah I can't dismiss that either.
Well, if you
If I
look
could
at the
talk, that'd
cave
be good.
paintings, yeah, there's the cave paintings of mermaids. I hate when people are like, "Well, we think they were manatees." I'm like, I know people, and they said sailors were just drunk, and I know guys and girls can put beer goggles on, and things look more attractive when you're drunk. I've been there in my 20s, but I'm just saying there's no way that they mistake like a manatee for a person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That just sounds a little far-fetched to me. And also, if you look at the actual paintings, it's not like they're drawing Kirby-looking fish. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
like it looks like a little stick person, or maybe they just couldn't draw it, but it's just very interesting. And everywhere across the world, somebody talks about mermaids.
Yep. And yet it's one of the most sort of widely dismissed. I mean, it's even almost more taboo than ghosts. I think at this point in a lot of ways.
hmm
It doesn't get covered much.
I mean, I would what was the last one? The Titus or whatever one that blew up that was going down to look that blew up all the billionaires recently, well, not recently, but last year.
I
I
think it
would
was Titan.
Yeah,
yeah,
Titan
Titan, yeah, that's
actually was really good. She had the whole parapolitics and how it all worked out. So I wish I wish she was on for this. Um, but I wonder if we could get something like that and get a little bit further down because if you look with the LiDAR into the oceans, you can see things that are kind of built. I think there's aliens down there. I think there's mermaids. I mean, there's
Hmm.
fish that have electrical lights that hang over their heads so they can see. So I don't shit on anything. I think there's so much stuff that we haven't seen. I think
Yeah.
megalodon's down there. Like, let's just go for it. I think there's still dinosaurs that exist that are swimming around. I don't think they were
we,
killed with big. Oh, sorry, Ricky.
oh no, you're good. I was gonna say, hell, they're still finding tribes of people that they didn't know it was this, that down in South America. So
Yeah.
so
Well,
they're
and
finding people. They're finding creatures, and they find animals and stuff all the time that they, wow, this we didn't know. I seen one the the other day, um, a while back, and it was talking about. They's like, well, they found a creature they thought had been existed, didn't extinct for years and years and years. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, here's one right here. Like it was, um,
Wasn't it that
so that
lion, like the Tarzanian like lion or something they thought was like extinct? Everyone's gonna shit on me right now in the chat for that one, but I think that's what it was
I think
recently.
so. I couldn't remember exactly, but I'm just remembering like, oh, it is still real. It still lives, or whatever. And it's wild. Like just that's what it's just these these scientists and these archaeologists that are like, well, they act like they know everything, and then they get proved wrong every day. So it's like, come on, y'all, be a little more humble, and y'all need to talk to everybody. That's always confused me,
Yeah.
all my life. Like I guess ever since I seen, and I started figuring out stuff like when I seen that old documentary with Robert Schock and John Anthony West, when with the Sphinx and stuff, and they were sitting there, and Charlton Heston was narrating the thing and everything, and we were sitting there talking about it, and he was like, of course the Egyptologists got mad, this is impossible. I'm like, why don't these different groups want to talk to each other and just verify? Like, you have a geologist that you can date the rock, has a good idea, understands the rocks, understands what's happened, how long it takes, has a good idea, just like they do on the other side. So why don't you come together and bring, then you can verify, like, oh, this is right, boom, this affirms my belief. Or if it don't, you can go, okay, let's figure out, maybe this is, older, and I truly think there's a lot of places they stop digging once they get to the point where they happy where it's at. I think they stop. Kind of like they've
Well,
been doing with the Gobi Tepe right now. They're like, oh, we're already farther, and we want to know it as it is. We don't want to know how far this thing goes back.
Well, first of all, I don't understand why people are so married to their ideas. Like, I'm wrong all the time, and I love being wrong because that means I'm learning. Like, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I need to go into a new room with other people. But you see these Egyptologists going on like the Joe Rogan podcast, and they're talking about, just shitting on people like Grant Hancock, telling him he's like a racist and he's like a white supremacist because of the things that he's finding. And if you look at the water erosion just on the Sphinx alone, I mean, first of all, if you would have told me years ago, like my dad had the Easter Island, they had no idea. They thought it was just the heads. It was full body. There was a full body statues that no one thought existed. So you see the water erosion. They're doing the same thing LiDAR. There's rooms underneath. People have talked about that, but they won't go investigate it. They don't want to talk about it. They're only 4,000 or how long? 5,000 years old, which is bullshit, by the way. Did you know that there were still woolly mammoths that were alive 4,000 years ago? Which is nuts to me. So I don't
Yeah.
understand why people would just, and also pyramids were apparently covered in limestone, so you could see them from the sky, like this white limestone and gold at the top. There's no, I was watching your cat right now. There's no way that they could have been eroded with sand that quickly in 3,000 years. And the way that they're made too, those aren't tombs. Like those are
Yeah.
definitely something else.
No, we see the tombs are all over the place. We see the, you know, um, where the tombs are. That's where they found all the mummies, and but those they've never found. There's no, and of course where all the mummies are in the Valley of the Kings, and
Yep.
and there's
Yep.
hieroglyphs everywhere, and there's none right there inside the Great Pyramid, and just the whole idea of 30 years, we couldn't touch it in 100 years. We could not build it in 100 years. It really couldn't, and I don't think they did built it in 100 years. I mean, but they were like, well, he has to be able to move the rock, carve a stone, move it, and they figured out how the time frame it would take if he really did the 30 years, and it's just absolutely impossible without like a billion people,
But we've
doing it.
digressed so much as far as how we build anything architecturally. Look at the stuff we're building now as far as modern technology or modern like buildings. If you look at the old buildings back from like in Paris and England that are or over like Stonehenge, like we're not building things anymore like they used to. Our technology is great, but we're kind of devolving and turning into like the spindly fat like people that just sit in front of computers all day. Um, so I wonder what if we could take off the tinfoil hat, what they could have used like technology wise to get those going.
Yeah, I think we are as a people de-evolving and over time, because I mean, you turn around and you look, you can tell like at Ballback and stuff, you can tell it was built on an older civilization. It was older stuff right there, and we done it like you were talking about earlier. We build on top of old stuff. We do it all the time, and so if you actually able to dig and get deeper, you'll actually, I think they could see more and more, and they see it all the time. They actually do. They turn around and then, they start digging them. They put a new building in, and all of a sudden they find all kinds of stuff. Where did this come from? I know they had. I think it was, I think in Missouri or Kentucky not too long ago. They found this underground like basement. It was older building underneath this other building, and they're like when they were digging up the road and fixing it, they're like, where did this come from?
Oh
And they
man.
were like, okay, instead of figuring out where it come from, they're like, well, we're just gonna fill it full of concrete and go away, and it's covered up, and that's what they did. And it was like, man, what the hell? Why are y'all? Why this thing's holding this up anyway? That's what they just pump concrete in it. Um, it's insane that we as a people don't want to figure out what's going on, and like to get back like on the pyramids and stuff. I think the Sphinx was the oldest. I believe the way what I understand from a lot of people that are experts. I've heard listening to experts, and the Great Pyramid. And I think those were the original pyramids there. And I think the other ones you see the ones that are falling in and caved in.
Well, there's one
And
off the coast of Japan no one talks about, and I'm really big. I
well,
think
there's
the Grand,
pyramids everywhere.
yeah, well, like the
There's
Grand,
pyramids everywhere.
they keep finding if you actually go. There's some like not caves, tunnels, in the Grand Canyon. This guy found hieroglyphics in back in the 1930s. He reported it, then the military like just completely shut that part of the Grand Canyon off. And if you look at the very top of the Grand Canyon, apparently there was a Sphinx there at some point as well. So just the way the setup and the plateau of the actual rock, and the fact that the military won't let you into a certain point. One of my sisters lives in Arizona, so I went to the Grand Canyon because that fascinated the shit out of me. I was like, this, but you can't go over there. There's anytime I see a military truck, that doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean? For the Grand Canyon, we can't go in there. Why? What are you guys working on? What's going on? Please tell us.
I mean, you can't even fly a drone over there in the Grand Canyon in certain spots where it'll actually, if you fly, I've seen so many people do it, and they'll fly over there and it'll get all of a sudden go look on your handheld and it'll turn around and say return to sender, turn around and come back. It won't let it go fly around there. If you get over there, you got the black helicopters. Of course, that back in the day, it had, I forget what the guy's name was. He was supposed to take he found a whole bunch of stuff in the Grand Canyon, and he was going to take a whole bunch of people and stuff down there.
Yep.
The day he was going to, he came up missing and hadn't been seen from since. And he found giants and Egyptian architecture and all kinds of stuff in there. I just I think they don't understand truly that how connected the world has always been. We were like, well, is this separate? Is everything separate? But then we find out, well, like Columbus supposedly, discovered America, which he didn't. We know that for guarantee. He knew it was over here. He had maps that had it over here, and because like the Vikings have been here for a long, long time.
Yep. Yes, they were.
They've got runes, the rune stone there in Minnesota. I can't think of the name of it.
Kensington?
Yeah, the Kensington. That's it. I was trying to think about that the other night. The Kensington, rune stone. It's been geology. Scout Wharton actually, turned around and actually, said it was, using the geology and stuff and seeing how much, weathering it had, and plus for like 200 years it's been inside. That it had to be back, really, really. I forgot, what year he put it back to, so it's well before. There's been people over here that there's possible talks of the Chinese already over here in South America, in the United States, in
There's
the
a wall in
Americas.
San Francisco that they said was built by the Chinese before Columbus got here. That they discovered it did like all the whole carbon dating on the wall and all that bullshit. So I think we have a very distorted view or the stuff that's given to us as far as what really happened with history. Just look what they're doing. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. Like years ago, we talked about chemtrails, and now they're talking about chemtrails. Same thing with food. They took the red dye out of women's medicine in the 1970s because it was causing skin cancer, but we're keeping it in our foods. But if you brought it up, it was considered a conspiracy theory. Same thing with sugar. And that's why, what is it, 70% of boys under the age of 18 now have a way lower drop in testosterone. They're having like smaller like penises, taints, everything because of what's going on, and they're like getting more estrogen in their body. And that's not a conspiracy theory, but it's real. So anything I hear now is always I say it's real until proven conspiracy because it's just the same shit keeps happening over and over again. We hear about it. It's like sit down, stay in line, don't worry about it, and then it ends up being real. But like the camp, like here, we've had a fog, and everybody I know is sick as a dog. Six, and then we've had dumping rain. California, everybody, if you don't know where I live, wonderful California. Um, and everyone's sick. And then now the rain's here, so I'm hoping it's kind of clearing out all the bullshit. But between the fires and all the chemicals in the air from the fires from last year, killing all of our water, and I think all of it is real. But I was going to ask, I think I talked about it with James. It's the 2 year anniversary just passed for the Miami alien mall invasion. That just went viral again on not just on TikTok, but on Instagram for the one guy that posted some of the alien videos. He's gone missing. So I thought
Mm,
that was very interesting after 2 years.
Oh,
that's
it's like
crazy.
what was that Las Vegas alien sighting? Like all that just calmed right down after a while.
Yep. Yep.
But I did want to bring up too all of this. Like when it comes to people or creatures or things vanishing and it being sort of interdimensional, that's not even counting the possibility of time anomalies, which has really become something I'm interested in now, where it's not necessarily going, um, creatures or objects that vanish aren't necessarily going to a different dimension or universe. There's just some kind of weird overlap in time, and that can explain some ghost sightings. I talked about that on Ray's show as well. But it makes you think of some of the sightings of like dinosaurs or pterodactyls or different kinds of winged dinosaurs from ancient times being seen by people in modern day in places where it's said that there's no way a population of them could live here now. And so how is it there? And then so that's where some people say, well, then obviously people are mistaken. But if we think of time anomalies, that can happen, and they happen with people too. There's cases of over in the UK, and actually in and around Liverpool, there's an area where a couple of people went into a store that was supposed to be one thing, and they went in there, and it was a different thing, different kind of store, and everyone was wearing older clothes, and they walked back out again, and everything was back to normal again. And there's other cases of that, and that's just sort of, and then I always wonder with that when those things happen, I would guess people vanish. Like I would guess if there was some, like you never hear about that, but I would guess if there was an extra person there that saw people, these people come into a store and then just they would appear to vanish. I would think. And I had a weird experience with something maybe possibly similar. I talk about once in a while here where I was walking to a restaurant that used to be open in the town where I live. My family went out, and I would meet there for lunch once a week. And I would always walk there, not in this time of year, but the rest of the year here in Michigan when the weather was good. Um, I would walk there, and so I went the same way every time, and I knew it took me like 10 to 15 minutes to get there, walking, because it was all side streets and all of that. Well, this one year, or this one year, one day I was walking over there, and as I was walking, I went into this weird trance that I've never had before or since while I was walking, and I just walked and like I lost track of, I don't know, I just zoned out, which is really weird. I don't do that when I'm walking because I'm legally blind. I kind of need to know what's going on around me. I have no depth perception, so I'm not going to be just running or whatever. And when I came out of it, I was right by the restaurant. And I thought, oh, well, at least I'm here. So and I sat down in the restaurant, and I was like, I probably got here right on time. I looked at my clock. I got there in 5 minutes.
Huh. That's very
A-
weird.
And I just wonder, like, what people would have seen, or did people see something weird? But of course, I don't know them. They don't know me, so I would have no way of knowing. But did I vanish to them,
Well, that's
or
like that plane there in around Florida. He
Yeah.
lost 45 minutes. It's
right?
supposed to take an hour and a half, and he took him 45 minutes. And even the fuel in his plane even showed him the same. Um, like like he drove, only 45 minutes.
Right.
If you
It was
guys
supposed
could
to take
time
him
jump,
2 hours to do the
sorry.
tour, and so um, I don't know, I think it is, you know, as the title says, beyond the possible, but it is possible for sure.
I
There's
was gonna
so
ask you
many.
guys if you could time jump. Don't have to be a big thing about it. You can go anytime for like 5 minutes. You can't go forward. You can only go backwards. Where would you jump to time? Ricky, you go first. Where would you go?
Don't be, here we go. Everybody else has time to think, but not me. Uh,
You've never thought about this before? Am I the only crazy person that's
I
thought about
don't. Not really. I mean, I've thought about, like, if I could go back in time and, like, get to see some of the cool stuff, like, you know, maybe maybe go back and, like we were talking about Egypt. I like to see be awesome to see the pyramids, like, in their full glory, like the full limestone shining, um, Sphinx still new without, with the old head, not with the new head,
right?
um, which I do believe was recarved, probably from weathering. You know, a lot of, historians and stuff that, agree that, that the head was, you know probably damaged from the because the compound was so, you know weathered. And that's, they've been doing work on the Sphinx for years and years and years. Like, in history they're talking about it. We need to get the Sphinx when they undug it. So it'd be able to go back in time and see that. That'd be pretty awesome to see something like that. Or I wouldn't want to go, like, try to change history kind of
No,
deal.
just go see it. Just go
Yeah,
see it.
because you never know. Because it's like like for everyone in your life, this. I was talking with some. I forgot who I was talking to. My brain just mushed. But we, I was talking to somebody about this. It's like you never know. Like, hey, you're going through some bad things. You're going through some uh, trials and tribulation stuff. But you know, if I hadn't, like, I was telling somebody, if I hadn't met a certain person, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Even though at the end, uh, get screwed over, whatever, they weren't the friend I thought they would be. But because of me interacting with this one person, I'm where I am right now. And if you look at, stuff like that, so, um, you know, and that's on a small scale. So if you go back in history and start turning around and trying to change things, like, well, I think it'd be better if this happened,
No,
and then all of a sudden it opens a whole paradox of, well, because this didn't person to get to do this, then this person actually was able to do 10 times worse or something. It's crazy to wrap your
yeah, the
brain
whole
around
butterfly effect
that.
thing. That's why when I think about it, I hate when people are always like, "If you could go back in time and change one thing," I'm like, you fucking can't. At least you can't right now." And I don't. I always move forward, but I would just like to go observe. Like I would love to go to like the very first day when Adam and Eve were there, because apparently, like, not that I want to get into the Bible, but they were saying like where they were at, where the tree was at. There's like this whole theory that it was on the is an inner Earth, and then they got expelled out into this part of the to Earth. So I would just like when civilization first started, I'd like to see if they were the first people. I personally think that there was older people, like older civilizations that were here, like millions and millions and millions of years ago. But that's just me. But James, where would you go?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I've had time and I don't even know. Um, I mean, I would say it'd have to be something like, well, one of those underground cities that we were talking about earlier. Like, I'd love
Okay.
to go back in time to when there was people there and just see what it was like. And if I could talk to them, I'd talk to them and try to find out what was going on, why were they there, how they make everything. But even just to observe people, because I mean, you can figure things out too by if you're people watching enough, I would guess, and listening. Um, for a little while, you could figure some things out. That'd probably be it. Because I've always been interested in underground places, and now with my eyes as they are, with the light sensitivity and all that, I mean, I have no problem with darkness. That's not an issue. So it wouldn't bother me much at all, really. So yeah, I think it's just some kind of ancient underground city
Okay,
and that kind of thing. Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, you did great for not knowing what you were going to do. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be cool.
it's I don't know. It's just it makes me think of because I was thinking about how like there are some places that I would like to investigate now, like as far as paranormally active locations. Like someday I would love to go to I don't know I blanked on the place. Waverly Hills Sanitarium. There we go. It came eventually. Um, because I've heard so many reports about that, and not just from the TV shows, which again nowadays and even years ago, I don't trust the TV shows because of all kinds of reasons. I've already gone over it before. I don't need to go over it again. Um, but there's reports from people that just go there to check it out and have experiences. And so I'd love to go there. And I've heard people say, "Well, it's so dark in there," and so they don't want to go. And I understand that, but for me, I'm fine as long as I have my cane to help me find obstacles and steps and all that. I'm fine with going there.
you brought up television. I sent something to Ricky earlier today with this girl online was making a good point. Because I don't watch a lot of television. I like to read. I'm a voracious reader. I still like
Yeah,
to touch paper. And they were
I
talking
miss
about like,
paper.
yeah, because people always like to tell a live vision, but it's also tell vision. So
Right.
you're watching that. It's like turn on the channel. You're channeling something, and then it's
Yep.
the program that you're watching. So it's the programming. So
Yep.
people don't think about those words and those words like it's spell like spelling
Yep.
to spell out in the world. I think that's a very interesting perspective. But Ricky's like on his own spelling right now with his cat making sweet, sweet love to him and moving his.
Drive me crazy. She wants attention. I haven't been home all day. I've been helping. I've been helping people and help my son-in-law and my daughter and get here a little late. So she hadn't really seen me most of the day. So
Oh,
she's
it's all
she's
good.
trying
I
to
know how
make up
cats
for
are.
it. She's trying to make up for it. Yeah, I was thinking. I was like, man, what was that big city? I was sitting there thinking about it, but it's Darren Kulu. They're in
There we go.
Turkey. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd
Yep.
be cool to see what all they like the reason for sure. The reason why
Yes.
they dug this massive place that had everything in it. They had and just being able to do that kind of thing. But they had,
Yeah.
they had their own area for worship. They had their own area for refuge. They had, bathing areas. They had food areas. It's like, how long did it take them to do that kind of thing? I wonder. And like I said, another reason is one of the reasons why. Of course, we hear them stories from India and like they were having, war in the skies kind of thing, like two different, some say there's two different groups of aliens were actually fighting each other in the sky and had nuclear weapons going off because of the radiation burning symptoms and stuff like that the people had. And um,
They're
it's
talking about that, like actually in our solar system. I forget which two planets, so forgive me, but there's an actual asteroid belt, and scientists were saying that they were to put that asteroid belt back together, it looks like a planet. And there's stories about like aliens that got into a huge fight in our solar system, like a war and blew up a planet. Wouldn't that be fucking nuts? Not that I sound like a Scientologist, but I thought that'd be very interesting.
That would be.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
Did
The
I?
whole. Sorry.
Sorry. No, go for it.
Oh, the whole alien thing is fascinating to me because there's so many reports of that, and so I don't doubt that it happens. But also, there's so much now, like that is propaganda that people have sort of settled on narratives or on a view of how they know. They say they know, or maybe they think they know. I don't know, but they know what the aliens are and what their intentions are, and it always seems like it's all good or it's all bad, and that drives me up a wall Um, that and the whole idea of, and I mean, I'm sorry if anyone really is into this, to each their own, but the whole idea of government disclosure of aliens being necessary. If you look around online, you can find enough reports of people having experiences all the time, and so therefore I don't need government disclosure because there's always agendas within the government, within military, within whatever there that are going to be controlling the narratives, and I'm just not interested in those kind of games. I'm just nope, I'm not
I
doing it.
think we talked about that, James, in my show. Like, as soon as the government's like, "Hey, look, aliens," I'm like, "What are you trying to cover up? What kind of bullshit
Yeah,
are you trying to push?" So I'm with Ricky. I definitely think they're going to start pushing Project Bluebeam here pretty soon.
They have the technology for it for sure. If they, I'm not sure if they're going to do the whole spew of Project Bluebeam, of course, with the one world religion, and they have the technology to do that with the drone footage and stuff like that. We've seen having something come break out of the sky, come up there and touch, and they can make people believe all kinds of stuff. I mean, God has made a whole bunch of people give them some money for art over there.
Yeah, I was just going to
So I
say.
mean, we can. There's enough in IRU people. They can turn around and and get people on board. And and there's a lot of people searching for something. They're not.
right.
Um, and when they see something like that, and they're just lost. They're some of them are they kind of they're social media bound, and that all their if social media tells them something, they're gonna run with it. You see all these
Well, look at
people
the
like you
cult.
talking about TikTok. There's like man, people get hurt all the time and doing because they're trying to do like this is a trend, and it's like man, what? I've done stupid things when I was a kid, but I had sense. Like at the same time, I had some half-ass common sense. I think, but
Well,
some of
common
these
sense is
kids,
one thing for us, like running around and scraping our knees when we were young. It's kids nowadays, like eating fucking Tide Pods, or they're having where they bring all their parents' prescription drugs and they call it the Skittles bowl, and they dump all these prescription drugs into a bowl and they mix it up and they end up eating it and like overdosing on medicine. I'm like, why is that a trend? Why are we putting that on social media? Why are we flagging that? I personally, I'm gonna sound like an old get off my lawn girl and I don't care. I don't think kids should be on social media until they're at least 16.
that's what Australia's trying to do right now. They're trying to push it. I think they pushed it now, but their
Did
kids
they?
are getting around it. But
They can still
they're
be on Blue Sky though, Ricky. They can't be on any social media, but they're still allowed to be on Blue Sky. So I was
well,
like,
that's
okay, I get it.
propaganda. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
we can
yeah.
only give you propaganda, but yeah, I won't go down that rabbit hole. We
Yeah, we're not
trying
doing
to,
it's paranormal
we're not,
tonight.
yeah,
You
yeah,
and I are not
parallel
doing
diet.
politics.
Yeah,
I keep on wanting to interject when you all start down that road, but I don't want to be a jerk and be like, "Hey, come on now." So I'm like,
yeah. Bring us
I
back,
just wait.
James. Bring us back.
Yeah,
We're gonna so used to talk about it. It's just like there's so
Yeah.
much. Everything intertwines now. Like everything they're using everything, for with the paranormal, like the UFOs and stuff and all this.
oh yeah,
And you get people excited and stuff like that. But you know, I don't know. I'm so sick. It's like some of the disclosure UFO stuff right now. It don't
yes,
make sense because it's
no,
you got like Lou out there. At first it's like okay, cool, and then he was like, well, I can't tell you. I'm so sick of people like, well, I can't tell you. Hawass did the same thing. Well, you can buy my book. I
Yeah.
can't tell you. I can't tell you how to find it. Online. Like when Hawass was on Joe Rogan. No, you got to look at. You got to buy my book. I'm like, uh,
and it
why do
happens
we have to buy your
over and
book? You're here in front of
yeah,
millions of people. Talk to us. It's. Um, I mean, I understand you want to sell your book. No doubt. But if
yeah,
you could give some cookies, some crumbs or something out there, people will go buy your book. You don't have to.
yeah.
You're good. I'll guarantee you'll sell if you turn around and actually show some of this footage that you say you got on there. I guarantee people will go out and buy the book because they're like, wait a
Oh
minute, I
yeah.
want to see the rest he got. If this is what he's showing me, what else he got in this thing? But if you don't show us jack squat, uh, you know, I ain't buying
Yeah.
no book. That's
And
that from somebody like
yeah,
that is going to sit there and tell me, BS. like that.
Yeah. And every, like, I don't know how many years, there's always some new person that has the truth about UFOs, and then a big deal is made about them, and then nothing really major happens with that person. Like every time over the last, I don't know, 10 years or so that I've been kind of half paying attention. For a little while, I was really paying attention, and no, it just the same cycles over and over again with all that.
Mm-hmm.
We had the
It's
Rose Parade here the other day, and they had some of the stealth bombers fly over like the football game, and I
Mm.
forgot. I'm like, that looks like a UFO. I remember when they first came out in like the 1990s. They were testing them out in like towards MacDill Air Force Base, where I was growing up in Florida, and I thought that was shit was so wild. Like but we haven't really created anything that slick since then. Like I wonder what we're hiding, or just haven't showed the general population yet.
well, yeah, stealth
Well, there's
bomber is old now. Let's see, think about it. I
Yeah.
yeah.
mean, 30 years later, 40 years of technology, it's got to be, they got some crazy stuff hiding for sure. That I think they want us to know what all they got sitting there.
Well,
Gonna freak
some of
some
the
people out.
triangle craft.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah. I mean,
you
there's
know the
patents for it. There's patent.
yeah.
If you go to Google Patents, there's patents
Yeah.
for triangle crafts, and they've had them for years and stuff. And I mean, you look at all the way back to World War II and a lot of the operation paperclip people come over. A lot of that Nazi stuff was you saw all kinds of with the bell. I forgot what the the German name for it. I forget what the German name is for it, but you got the bell and stuff like that, and we've there's been um, bell-shaped flying craft, you know, throughout history. And like we were talking about in India, I can't think of what it's called. I have to look it up.
V- yeah, Vimana or
Yeah, the
something.
Ramana. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in India, it's bell shaped. We that technology is in a thought process for a long time. Um, I think it's going to be there. What they show is, I used to think it was like 20, 30 years. I've heard a lot of people say that. I think they're pushing more and more back. Probably up to 40 years. Of, what they were doing.
Well,
You know,
China released that whole cloaking technology where you can't see that. So I'm pretty sure if China's kind of behind the ball on some stuff, I'm thinking that we already have that. We just can't see it anymore. And, between drones, on the technology with drones. Although I did hear a funny one, and everyone's going to blow me up on this one, but speaking of conspiracy theories and drones and UFOs and government kind of surveilling us, um, have you ever noticed, like, because they always say that pigeons are like, they're like surveillance, like they're made. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
no, I don't think I ever seen one. I seen that billboard saying birds aren't real. I think they had one here.
Did they
Uh,
really?
yeah, they
Holy
had one.
shit.
Yeah, somebody put a billboard up in town. In Memphis that said birds aren't real. Um, the Die Glock is the bell, the the German word for the bell. Thank you, Karen. Karen, as a chat, let's shout out the chat real quick. Y'all are awesome. Y'all, y'all. I can't keep up.
I know I'm
I'm
watching
not even
like,
trying. I'm not
oh,
even trying. I'm not even gonna try. But I appreciate y'all.
awesome. What else we
Yeah, the
got,
whole.
James?
Oh, I was just gonna say the whole drone thing is the whole thing with drones and planes and UFOs. What makes it so tricky is there are reports of things that look like regular craft, like planes or helicopters, that then shapeshift or turn into orbs or just other like spheres or whatever. And so it really makes it hard to know what is going on at any given time unless there's more than just a sighting of an object, I think. In other words, unless you see some kind of creatures around it, which even then nowadays you never know, or if there's some kind of a, it's more rare, but like telepathic contact. Um, to me, just the craft or lights in the sky now. I always figured that's going to be something, you know, made by people, unless something else really weird happens.
Yeah, if you, I'm just sitting there thinking, and popped in my head was, I'm one of the believers that they show us these evil Satanists have to show us that's part of their crew. They have to show us what's going on and what they do and all kind of stuff in movies and stuff. And but um, I wonder like Star Trek. How many
Hmm.
technology in Star Trek do we have right now?
We got the
Uh,
Apple Watch. We got FaceTime.
Yeah, view screens,
Hmm.
video
and I
chat. Yeah,
wonder that the cloaking. I bet cloaking is one of the things, and that's why we're seeing stuff and we see it disappear. I believe that's part of their technology that they're actually using. They do have. They can cloak, some of the ships, and that's maybe I believe that's part of the UFOs which we're seeing. They're not really, they're not of this world. They're ours. It's our technology that they're working on, and that's what we're seeing is like cloaking ship where they can use that technology. I know they saw how was it down in I think Chile where they had these um, what are they got face takers or something like that. They were coming out there. Somebody the people were find them out in the woods and stuff like that, and like their face be gone and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I heard about
And
that. The one chick
and
that ran away.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the girl got away, and but she's like I heard one of them was talking like American, and the other one was talking like a local, and they had like a packs and flew off whatever, but they had weird stuff on everything, and there's a lot of speculation that was military testing and for
yeah,
whatever reason you know, and people might say, well, why would they carve somebody's face off for? They did horrendous stuff in MK Ultra um, alone. So if just to you try out some new technology and keep people from finding out, they'll sure do all kinds of messed up stuff.
Well, I
Um,
well,
mean, sorry,
go
go
ahead.
for it.
Sorry. Oh, that reminds me, and I don't remember the date now when this happened. It was decades ago now, a few more decades now ago. But if either of you have heard of I think it's the Cash Landrum event or encounter. These two
Refresh.
women, and I think it was the son or the grandson, were in a car. They came across a diamond-shaped UFO, and they got out of the car to look at it, and they tried to get back in the car, and like the car was hot to the touch, and they ended up getting like almost like what seemed like radiation sickness from it.
Hmm.
mhm.
Um, I mean, a lot of time, for years that was thought of by a lot of people as probably an alien craft, but if it's nuclear, you know, and if technology, if any military is 30, 40 years ahead, then it could have been something from the government, the military, whatever.
Well, they always talk
And
about the biggest testing right now that they're doing, apparently,
yeah,
this is, like I said, grain salt coming from me, is they're looking to create super soldiers. So
mm,
that's why they're doing all the buying all the shit up with like China and us getting everyone's DNA, getting everyone's health. Like, everyone's encouraging, the government's encouraging us now to put everything into our Fitbits or to our Apple Watches, put everything into some kind of app. Go get your DNA tested to see like, hey, ancestry.com. Like, don't give a fuck. But that's this way they can start figuring out one to sell us more pharmaceuticals, also start controlling us more. But two, I think they can also start same thing with CRISPR if they can take out all the bad stuff out of us as far as genes that are considered issues with our bodies, whether it's cancer, if there's autism, shit like that's running in your family, that they can make these soldiers and go and fight not even just us, but fight maybe there like theories of people in Mars. So who
right.
knows when it comes to the military?
Yeah, they already got like the suits and stuff like that. I seen a guy talking. Whose podcast he was on. I seen a clip, and he was talking about it. He was like, "Look, I'm just an average whatever dude," and he's like, "It can the the technology can make him run and jump and like the way it moves so much faster." And he said that they're working on the technology right now, actually because and they could use like Neuralink or something like that.
Hmm.
That as soon as um, well, we had exoskeletons. We've been working on that for a long time, but he said that they're working on the technology right now where you could turn around, like as soon as your neurons are firing to move my arm, it's moving the technology to exo too. So it's gonna between that and like some exoskeleton type stuff, they're really gonna push the envelope of like super soldiers, and uh, and then of course China's been really big on CRISPR and trying to get rid of all the defects in their children, uh, and make and they're all on to the point of making superhumans, um, which is crazy. They think you know we need everybody. Nobody has to be. There's no perfect people. Damn it, we don't
Yeah.
need we don't need we need our variety. We don't need. Uh, I mean, it's a good concept of hey, I want to get rid of sickness or something like that, but are they really going
But
to do that?
yeah, I was
Or
gonna
they
say,
going to are they going to make something so terrible that hey, I can take out this. We have this DNA string of this type of group of people. Well, I can make something specific to take out that type of people. It's the scary process of the potentially of that. I think.
well, it's like cancer. All the companies that help, pay for cancer research are the companies that are using chemicals that are fucking causing cancer. So it's like, this vicious cycle. So I feel like there's too much money in pharmaceuticals and procedures and advertising to keep eating and consuming things that are bad for you for this to ever go away. So when it comes to what they're doing, I don't think it'll be made for the general population. I think it'll just be made for the military and whatever kids they grow in a lab there.
Well, speaking of DNA, I mean, think about, and I'm gonna bring this back to the paranormal here. Um, families, like abilities and sensitivity, seems to run in families in a lot of cases. And I don't know. I'm wondering when is that going to be, if it hasn't already been discovered and maybe hidden, when is that going to become more and well known? Because I can tell you right now, I have family members that have had experiences without me around them, um, and I do seem to be more sensitive than in some ways than others in my family. But yeah, it's really fascinating when I hear about um, families having experiences and one person having an experience and then telling someone else in the family and then finding out that they were not the only one in that family to have experiences. And I've had that happen before with myself and other families. So that's always wonder about that. How I mean, is that? I guess it's a big question in a way, but is that ever going to? I wonder if that would be the way. If that would be the eventually the way that paranormal things, unexplained things, uh, do become or do get accepted by some kind of science to where it's not repeatable usually, but if you get enough people in one family that seem to be having experiences, I wonder if that could eventually lead to something.
It could. I mean, look at my sisters and I. We're identical triplets. Like when my
Mm,
mom passed away, we all three had the same dream. Like when my one sister was sick, the other two could feel it. I
right,
mean, that's a good extreme because, like I said, we're identical. We get the same DNA, but it's passed down generationally. So I'm sure my dad used to say my grandmother could experience stuff and hear stuff and could
right.
sense stuff. But who are we? But I wonder with the government, if they alter stuff, they could make it even more potent in that family line, figure out what's causing it, and then make the next child or family member have more of that in them. I wonder if they can actually even see that in DNA. I know that's a really dumb question, but I wonder how they figured that out.
Yeah, I don't think it's dumb. I think if they haven't found it yet, then maybe over time they will. Especially with how much again I'm looking at for of well, it's really Reddit, just Reddit every day. And I mean, I usually do research for my show. I try to find like half a dozen posts of true experiences every day, 6 days a week, and there's always enough. Like I never run out. I always find more than enough for what I need. And so I wonder if eventually it's going to get big enough where, I mean, I guess it would just take the right person in some kind of government agency to notice that's happening and to get the other right person to approve of some kind of study on all that, and then maybe they'll find that. And then the thing I'd be worried about with that is the extremes, which is of course, yeah, enhancing those abilities or canceling them out, because I think that could be a very bad thing over time as well.
What do
Yeah,
you mean?
for
Because
sure. Like being
um,
able blocking them, like you be able to block
yeah,
the
like getting
Okay.
rid
block their
of
abilities.
whatever, yeah, getting rid of whatever parts of the DNA it is that and I mean this is like I don't know anything about DNA, but getting rid of the parts of the DNA that maybe are responsible for that sensitivity, that awareness, those abilities, getting rid of them so that that stuff, it then it truly does leave maybe like it gets to be even less and less common over time.
I mean, I could see if it's possible, I could see him maybe trying to do that kind of thing. I mean, because it's one of the things that being able to see that kind of stuff, and and I've told you like I found out later that it's run in my family, like being able to sense stuff and seeing stuff,
Right?
and um, that that you and then the thing that adds to that whole thing is like, okay, you're able to see stuff that makes you question things. So if you
Yep.
have if you're programmed to be able to question things, then you turn around, well, we need to we need to get rid of that. We don't need them question anything.
Yeah.
We need we need sheep. Just do, eat, you know sleep, work, that's it, and so yeah, I could see that fear of like trying to cut some of that, you know that gifts, and then also like which I think with MK Ultra they did try to amplify some of those gifts. They
Yep.
really did. And of course,
Yeah.
the ones that we even know about. There's some that we just have numbers. Um, some of the programs that that we just have numbers, and because they destroyed so much of the information, so God only knows what they did to those poor people. But from United States to Canada, like that doctor in Canada was, people were coming to him for help, and he was completely trying to erase their memory and mind and put something else in there and just totally foobarred them. Um, and poor people, it's so sad that 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 kind of those kind of programs were out there that did it to these people. They were actually just trying to get some normal, just average day people just trying to get help, and what they get, they get fucked. And absolutely, because of testing for some kind of random shit, to see what they could do. And a lot of it was um, because they thought they thought the Russians had it. So if the Russians possibly have it, we got to find it. We got to do it.
Yeah.
And that was really their mindset. Like if it's even possible, we need to do it. And of course they had the remote viewers and stuff like that, trying to find information and.
That shit with remote viewing, the fact they have super soldiers now, not super, I'm sorry, just soldiers that can remote view in and guard the area that people go to remote view is crazy. So that people can't go in.
Yep.
Like if Ricky and I are remote viewing and James is like some super soldier, he can remote view into where we go to look and he stands there and they can block us. The fact that they can do that now is wild to me.
Yeah.
That's
Makes me
crazy.
think that because I always used to think, man, if I could control my out of body experiences, there's places I would love to go and check out. But then I forget where I heard about that. People having experiences where they come across like astral bodyguard kind of figures in like government places, and I just said, well, I just thought, well, yeah, I guess I don't really want to try that after all. I think I'm okay with just letting that be, because who knows?
James, have you tried the Gateway Project?
I have not. I've heard about it, but I have not gotten into it. I'm kind of the mind now where I have enough experiences as it is.
No, you don't.
Um,
Never enough.
uh, I wish I could exist that way. If I didn't have to deal with a physical body, then maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's yeah. I've thought about things like that. I've thought about trying to sort of hone my ability to make it so I can control when I do out of body experiences, but they so often when I wake up from any of that, I'm tired still. and I have a hard enough time sleeping as it is sometimes.
Okay.
And I just, so I know I've thought about looking into all these things, but I've decided not to just because of that.
Okay. When I had my medical like hiccup last year, when I had that big hole in my back, I was stuck like on a walker for 5 months.
Mm,
I got
yeah.
into that bad boy, and I will tell you, one, it's just great for meditation. If you get through the first and second like tapes, they're great. You relax, you kind of get in tune with your body. But
Right.
I will tell you, if you ever want to, I may just drop it in the Discord channel for you on your messages. I'll send it to you,
Okay.
Ricky. No, like it's incredible. Like it's great, and it teaches you how to control certain things and heal certain things. So I don't know.
Mm.
I found it very helpful and
Yeah.
crazy
That's
and it
good.
worked.
And that's
Yeah, I've done
amazing.
the
I'm glad.
hemisync. I tried
Yeah.
hemisync a few times.
Yeah.
First time I messed up, and I still had some lucid dreams. I didn't put my headphones on. I just had it on my TV playing, and did the whole thing. It said, and the breathing, the counting, and all that. And um, but I did use my headphones and stuff before, and it's pretty wild how, and I'm already having a bunch of lucid dreams as it is anyway. I swear I'm just tapping into the multiverse. I really do, because uh, some of the stuff he sees, and which like I've talked about it before. Like, I was telling people about it the other day. It was, the craziest thing that's happened me in my lucid dreaming was, for the ones that hadn't heard it, for is when I was walking with somebody, and I was at this house, and I was turning around. I was like, well, look, I need to take a nap. And as soon as I laid down there and closed my eyes, I woke up here, just instant, just pow.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, and a lot of times I wake up and I'm a little groggy. I'm looking around, but that day I was just bam and woke straight up and was looking around. I'm like, what in the hell? Just like it just slammed back into, um, like everything slammed back into me here, and just like poop. And I was looking around. I was like, what in the hell just happened? And I just cannot explain it. I'll probably never forget it. So it's, and then having dreams of having the same family members, but they have a different house than people. Like, you recognize people, but then you don't recognize people.
Mhm.
And I just wondered, if, of course, the scientists say that, they did prove that the multiverse, there is a multi kind of verse situation. We got parallels along with us, and I know we talked about it before. You know, maybe that's the reason people are seeing stuff that they don't, you know, uh, and Jiffy peanut butter, and
Oh, with
and
Mandela effect.
yeah, the Mandela effect and stuff.
Did you see that
Possibility of
CERN?
that.
Sorry. CERN was like actually had to make a public like call to action where they had to go because people were talking about that ever since CERN kind of went live with their new uh, reactor went live, that people are saying that it changed the course of our reality and the timeline, and they actually had to come out formally and say that it can't do that, which I think is bullshit. Because it didn't happen before that this happened.
Hmm.
Why are they're trying to get into wormholes and they're trying to figure this out? So we don't know enough. Science is always evolving. How do they know that they didn't do that?
Scientists are going to kill us. They're the ones going to end us. They haven't already.
Yeah, could be. I have to step away for 1 second. I'll be right back.
All
No
right,
problem.
no
I'll
problem,
keep
James.
it on.
Yeah, scientists are going to be the ones that kill us. They've done so many crazy things. Um, I know I've talked about it on the shows before. Like they did a nuclear bomb up there, up in the upper atmosphere, which it EMP'd Hawaii back in the day, and
Yep.
uh, um, what was it, Operation Sea Spray in San Francisco? They sprayed bacteria all over San Francisco and all that. It's just, well, let's see what this does. It's like, come on, y'all, stop.
Yeah.
Drop nuclear bombs inside of a salt cave here in Mississippi. It's just like, what are y'all doing? Y'all have no give a rat's ass of what is going to the consequences of what could happen later on. Like, no
Well, like
idea what 30 years down the road what it's going to do.
well,
They
like your
don't
buddy
care.
Bill Gates. I have family in Florida, and he's testing the new malaria vaccine, or they're doing the whole changing for mosquitoes. They're altering their DNA so they can help cure malaria. But then there was a fucking malaria outbreak in the same state that they're testing genetically modified mosquitoes in Florida. I'm
Quinky
like,
dink.
what are we doing? Stop. Stop. Knock this shit off. Knock it off. We don't need to do all this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we've done a great, I'm not saying I'm not an anti-vaxxer, blah, 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 blah. I am against the COVID vaccine since I'm vaccine injured. But people just, we keep testing all this different shit and expecting, there's not thinking about the side effects. And it's wild.
But they don't care about the side effects. They
Funny.
really don't. Of course, for our thing, we are not doctors. We're just here for your entertainment purposes only. But they don't care because they had that they put in law where they couldn't get sued, so they don't care. Ever since that happened back in the 80s, they've ramped everything up to a point of like whatever we could do what we want to do,
Yeah.
and we can push all this stuff out, and we can make a lot of money, and we don't care, and it's the bad thing is the money is the thing. If you follow the money on always, it's number one. Um,
I think I told you
damn the
this.
people.
Yeah, like before my husband, my former life, I dated like three surgeons, and all of them. One was a neurosurgeon, one was a back surgeon, and one was the head over at City of Hope. And I asked all of them because we would go out and they would like, I was a bodybuilder back in the day, but I was also a bio major when we get into like, discussions about science and but just diet because they would ask, I was bigger, I was natural, I didn't take steroids, and in med school, do you know how much time like, when you take your fucking dog to the vet, he's sick. What's the first thing they ask you? What are you feeding him? When you go to the doctor, it's like, oh, my stomach's upset or I have a migraine. They just start pumping you full of pills. They do 45 minutes, Ricky, of nutrition in med school. That's it. That's it. One of my exes said he was blackout drunk, went and aced it because it was so easy. Because it was just 45 minutes. They were just dusted over it, and that was it.
Most important thing of all. Like, it's I tell all of my students and stuff like that, especially ones that want to compete and stuff like that, like they want to fight. And then I'm like, look, it's like I'm not the best. Y'all know I love drinking Dr. Pepper and I eat jelly beans and stuff, but I, and then I can turn around, I can roll for an hour too. So I'm built different. But I was like, you turn around, I say, if you want to do this, if you want to do this professionally, remember number one, you put garbage in, you're gonna get garbage out. You got to look at your nutrition. You got to put good things into your body where you want your body to work the best. If you don't, if you want to halfway or just have fun, hell, eat what you want, do what you
Yeah.
want to do. But if you want to take it to that next level, if you watch all them UFC fighters and stuff, and you hear them, we got every one of them. I got this nutritionist that takes care of my food. I don't have to worry about it. I got this nutritionist that all of them, the top big boys, all of them have a nutritionist that drops every case of every macro, every protein, everything in every food, and
I
they
would
bring
get
it
my
down
blood
to
work done.
science.
Yeah, I would
And
get my blood work done.
they're monsters. They're ripped and they're healthy, and you can see the difference.
Well, I would do the same workouts for 6 months and eat like trash. And then I would, dial it back and actually eat everything organic, have everything weighed, all my macros kind of figured out. And I would have an 8 pack and be shredded down to 4% body fat doing these same exact workouts. It's crazy to me that, just I had for Thanksgiving, I'm sorry, Christmas, I had a piece of sweet potato pie. I haven't had sugar in a while. I put on 11 pounds of water weight in one day because it inflamed me so much. I mean, one, because I have Durkheim's disease, but two, I'm like, holy shit, because I haven't had sugar and like no alcohol. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was nuts how quickly that just spiked my entire body.
Wow.
Like they're poisoning us. We can't do this anymore. This is nuts.
Everything is. I feel like everything is just thrown out as garbage unless you really like take all the steps to make it not that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
You know
if you had to put means of grow it all, or like
exactly.
we talked about on the show before, like if you know somebody, like there's a um, there's you know if you know who somebody owns a land, has a farm, they turn around and grows, has their own cows and stuff like that, and they're the butcher, and then you know exactly pretty well what they ate. Other than that, it was like one of my bosses and stuff. He when all the COVID 2020 hit and stuff, and that man was in. If you get offended, I'm sorry. He was insane to me. He really was. To my mind, he was insane because he was he bleached his dash every day. He had a $90,000 truck. He was taking Clorox bleach and spraying on his truck every day. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're gonna ruin your dash. He's, I can't. And then he come to me one day and he was like, man, Ricky, I'm tired of sandwiches. I said, why are you eating damn sandwiches every day? I was like, go get something to eat. And he was like, I can't because of, with the situation going on. I said, look, unless you grow everything at your house, if you're going to a grocery store, somebody has touched this crap somewhere at some point.
Yeah.
I know a friend of mine used to work at a frozen vegetable plant, and I won't say which one, so but he said it was horrible. Like all in places, it is not the best. You're going to get some kind of interaction with people and food. If you worry about them little details of that, you're not going to be able to eat anywhere. You can't.
Well, I couldn't. Like, so we actually grow everything here. I have mast cell activation syndrome on top of everything else. So, and I have to get specific seeds that get from an Amish company in Pennsylvania because the ones that come over like on Amazon are all genetically modified. And if anyone's interested, I have no affiliation with them. I just use them. They don't use mRNA for their meats. Everything is completely organic. It's regenerative farming. It's a company called Seven Sons, and they have amazing meat. And it's actually, I don't know where you guys live, but like in California, shit's fucking stupid expensive. And I'm actually saving myself money getting meat delivered from them to my house versus going to the store. That's is considered organic, but they still are putting shit out here because I can't eat the fruits and vegetables out here. So everything is grown here, or I get Seven Sons meat. So take a listen, everybody. It's good shit.
Makes
For
me
sure.
wonder if. Sorry.
Go ahead, James.
Makes me wonder if there's if, and this is kind of half joking, not really joking, but I mean, is this the only universe where all that's going on, or is it the same or similar in every universe? And I say that just because, and kind of also, sorry too, I don't mean to keep on dragging it back, but every time I had one of those weird alternate parallel universe experiences, I was back in a house where I spent a lot of time where I used to live in, and Ricky, you talked about earlier your kind of your scary, like, most frightening experience of that. Mine was sort of the opposite, where realized I was somewhere else, and I tried to get back here, like by going back to sleep 3 times, like 2 or 3 times, and I kept on waking up there,
Whoa.
and it took me like a few times to get back here, and that's when I realized, okay, these are interesting experiences, but I do not mind if I never have one again. Because I don't know, it makes me, I mean, nightmare fuel. What can you get stuck in another version? And there's a couple of cases posts I found online from people who survived car crashes, and when they got back to their family was different to them. Like physically, their physical features were different, and they seemed different to their family. And I just find that to be really wild because, like, did they die in the one universe and get transferred to another one? I'm really curious about, how all that works.
Do you think that dreams are just a different parallel or infinite different universes that you're kind of jumping through all the time? That's why you can't remember it?
I don't know. I don't think all dreams are. I think there's all different kinds of dreams. I think there's regular, our mind processing the day kind of dreams. And I think there are visitations from loved ones. I think there's out of body experiences. Of course, I mean, for me anyway, all mine happen after I've already gone to sleep, and it starts off like for a second I think I'm dreaming, but then it feels too real. Um, but then there's the other, and I mean, I don't know if those those alternate parallel universe dreams are out of body experiences. I can't say. It feels like I'm there physically, but then could that just mean I am having an out of body experience somehow inhabiting the body of an alternate version of me in these other places?
Probably. Really quick though, we have a celebrity in the chat on Rumble. Everyone give a shout out to Michael Strange being on here right now.
Oh, hello, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
And
Sorry, I
Oh,
saw
but
shout out to Nature Boy. He said first time being here, so I'm glad you're here
oh,
and hope you enjoy.
yeah.
Uh, and
Thank
everybody
you all
else, the
for listening.
chat's still just flying across so on the Rumble for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
Karen's saying some awesome stuff. I'm gonna have to like follow her or find her after the show's done. Hey, Karen.
she's in the Discord. She's in the Trouble Minds Discord, so you can.
Ah,
And,
perfect.
and
I'll plug her.
of course she's on Nights of the Storm every Saturday at 1 Central Time. So
Wait, Karen's the one that's on with Ashley?
yes,
Oh, awesome. I love her. She's great. Yeah,
yep,
I love listening to them on Saturdays.
yep. Jason Barker is here from Nights of Storm. Karen and Ashley, all three. We got the whole Nights of Storm sitting
Hello.
here in the chat today. So
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail our conversation, but I saw him like I
oh
was
no,
just
No,
casually
you're
looking.
fine.
no, you're good. I'm over here looking too. It's kind of like I'm like, do I
And
get
I'm
my
here,
thumb on the
not
keyboard or
looking,
not?
because I can't read chat while I'm like have other tabs open. So I'm just
You're
sitting here
Yeah.
all
listening.
Oh, you're
all
good,
good.
James. Yeah, I kind of I what we said the other day was it's all of above kind of thing.
Yes.
I think it's combination of you know I know I've had like I said I've had this situation with where I woke up, um, I had somebody come to me in my dream, and we were just like I don't even know where we were, but we were talking and I'm like, look, you can't do this, leave me alone, let me sleep. And it was one of my exes, and then I texted her the next day. I was like, leave me alone, don't come to me in my dreams, like. And I'm like, and I never heard nothing from her again after that. I didn't had no more situation happen, and of course I didn't get no text either. So, um, I think it's a possibility is that all above. We had that multiverse. We had that situation. And I think sometimes, like I said, not all dreams are the same. We got lucid dreams, and then we have just casual, whatever. You just random dreams. You might be, you know, you ate too much spicy food before you went to bed, or you're watching something on TV, or you
Yeah.
can leave TV on and you had the TV going in the background. I've done that
Oh my
before, and,
gosh.
and
Yeah.
it blends in.
I
Or you can
always
actually
do.
really tie it into it. You're tying in your dream. You're actually going. I think sometimes we get to go see other people and other, kind of third person, get to watch around like, oh, okay, this is what they're doing over here, and um, I truly do that a lot. I mean, it's like I said, I don't know. I never know I'm dreaming. If I do, once I realize it, poof, I'm gone. So so I think I'm, just kind of sitting back and get to see what other people are doing in different places, and um, which I think that part of it, sometimes the people are like, man, I'm always tired. What the world? I was like, well, you run around and living two lives all the time. Hell, that's what's wrong. I
Exactly.
work all
That's
day, and then you doing a whole other job in another other place at night.
that's exactly why I don't want to try to have more experiences because I don't even have a job and I still get tired out just from the experiences I have. So,
I
but
don't know.
yeah,
All of them.
it's
I have all the experiences. I think that means I'm like,
it is
Yeah.
funny though because like I do think there are just regular dreams that are kind of um they may have things in them that like at first you might think are paranormal. Like I had one the other day uh, that does not make any sense. I was at my grandparents' house again, one of those places I just keep on going to in my dreams. And my grandma was there, but she wasn't there. In other words, I saw her in her chair and everything, and she was sitting there, but I did not feel any presence from her. She didn't even really look at me. And she got up and walked around and then walked back to the chair and sat down. But that was like the background to the other thing that was going on, which was kind of weird because I had this cat in a carrier, which I don't know why I had it with me in her house, and it escaped somehow, and so I had to go get it and bring it back and put it back in the carrier. And after I put it back in the carrier, that carrier started like to fall apart, like in really weird, like almost like it was paper or plastic, like where it was just some invisible force was like just peeling it back, and like the cat was almost out. And that's when I realized, wait, this carrier is like it's breaking in a way that does not make any sense. And I realized at that point that, oh, this is a dream, and I woke up. You
You
know,
never tried
but
to go that shit? You never try to sit back down and go, why am I having that? I do that all the time.
no, because I don't have I don't have the patience for analyzing things too much unless it comes to me like right away.
Okay.
I kind of just I just let it go until either nothing comes of it or something does. Because sometimes things do come, realizations do come later about things that happened before, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. It kind of connects to this thing. So yeah, it's amazing when people can analyze things and figure things out like on the spot. Because I can't. I don't have the patience for it.
You're better than me. I can't help it. I go down the rabbit hole. I go like head first, just like swan diving into bullshit all the time. But I have to jump here at 7 o'clock because
Oh,
I'm a corporate slave and I have someone calling from overseas, so I suck. So I knew I was here
you
for two
know.
hours and then I have to be up at 4 a.m. I think I told Ricky I had like a 2 hour window before I
Yeah,
had
no
to
problem. I'll
jump.
stay. I'll figure 2.5 hours, something like that. I'll figure we're somewhere around there, and
Otherwise,
that's
I could
cool.
talk to you guys all night long, make it a
Yeah.
marathon.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But we appreciate you coming on again, and you're always welcome, and for sure. And go ahead and shout yourself out for especially for ones we've had some people come in. Of
Oh
course, we've
yeah.
had new people come in since we did our introduction, so let
Yeah,
everybody
one
know who you are. And
yeah, Ray for the Radical Truth. We're on Spotify, so if you guys can hit following, it really helps the podcast. It's another conspiracy podcast, so please check it out. It drops every Friday at 12:01 a.m. Also, the official coffee for the show is Don't Tread on Bean. Get it? Haha. Coffee, so go to don'ttreadonbean.com if you guys want to try out some really good coffee. But Ricky, thank you so much for having me on the show. And James, buddy, it's always good seeing you. I need to have you back on. And Ricky, I need to drag your ass back onto my podcast here
oh,
too.
for sure, for sure, we can
Happy
do
to
it.
be there.
All right. I love you guys. I will talk. Thanks. Nice meeting everybody. And I will talk to you later.
Yeah, much love, much love.
Take care.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
And play our commercial real quick. We go ahead and do
This
that
country starts early.
again.
It works hard. It stays focused. It keeps moving. It stands ready. And it carries the weight. Strong coffee for a strong nation.
Dun dun. So y'all check that out.
I love
Links.
that name.
I think that link is in the description. If it's not, I need to update it and make it in the description. I don't know if it is or not. I got so much links in there. I do not. I need to get that in there. I need to get that in there too. So I got James's in there. So you want the links in the description, and we got James's. His website is in the links in the description. We're not going anywhere. I guess we're having just a 5-minute breather, I guess. Check out the links. We got other sponsors. We got Trouble Minds Radio Network is in the links in the description also. My link tree, Ray's show on Spotify. I don't have her TikTok, but I know, and Primal Cage Warriors. Check them out on Facebook. I'm gonna be announcing for fights February 14th for the first time. I'm gonna
Nice.
be not announcer, a commentator, not announcer. No,
Ah.
I'm not getting out in front of it. I'm commentating, which that's even more. I got to talk 10 times more. I got to talk through the whole show, so you get to hear my voice through the whole show. So, it's gonna be fun. Gonna be fun for sure.
Yep. I'm sure you'll do great. You'll be fine.
We'll try. All I know how to do is give her hell and try my best, like I do everything else. And first day probably a little rough, and then we'll get better as it goes. And kind of like this stuff here, we've been doing this. We slowly but surely getting better and get more comfortable talking. And it's just takes time. Before I get Mr. Duffy will be here Wednesday. We got Truth, Bigfoot stories, and we got pictures and videos and real life situations. So it's gonna be fun Wednesday. We won't be doing too much politics. Yeah, look for. I might pop a lunch show this week. When I get my politics kicking sometime this week, so I won't feel bad, especially with everything going on in the world. But I might pop in a lunch show. So watch the feed. So make sure you like and subscribe and hit that little bell so you can get that notification. Because you never know when I'll do when I'll pop in here and then start making a live show on lunchtime. So. Yeah, Mr. Woodley, I'm going to look at the chat here. Mr. Woodley said, yeah, when you realize you're in a dream, you can control it. I can't. As soon as I realize I'm in a dream, I'm popping out of that damn thing. I've never been able to control a dream. I've heard people talk about that. It sounds pretty cool. I've heard people talking about how they can fly and do all kinds of crazy stuff. I've never in my life, in my 46 years, I know I look older with this white-ass beard I got going on, but that I've been able to control a dream. It's just flowing. I have been able to wake up and look around and go right back into it. I'm like, all right, and lay my head back down, and I can go poof, right back, like instant. I can't do it all the time, but I have been able to just wake up, look around, and go, what in the hell is going on? And I'm like, all right, I'm tired. And as soon as I had my head back down, poof, right back to where I was in the same spot. It's just crazy, Now it makes me, like we were talking, we talked earlier that what kind of makes me wonder, is like if are we seeing other, like the multiverse, or seeing, is it astral projection or something like that? Where are you able to see other people? Because I've had that happen before, but probably hundreds of times now, I guess. And really, like, wake up and then, like, man, and then I go back to sleep, and boom, and can go right back into where I was, and it's like, so I'm going right back to tapping in wherever I was just at, and so there's got to be something there. I'm not trying to try any DMT or anything like that to figure none of that. I ain't trying to go to that level though to figure.
No, I'm good.
I've heard people having stories of that, and they had a near death experience, and then turn around and they did DMT, and then turn around and seen the same entities that they did in their near death experience, and they're like, "What are you doing here? You ain't supposed to be here. We sent you back." And I'm like, "What in the hell? What could be possibly?"
Yep. That's one of the most fascinating things to me about all this is that when our brains are in different physical states, it seems to be a gateway to other levels of reality, realms, whatever you want to call them. And I mean, if it's happening now, it's probably been happening since there were people. And I wonder. I mean, I don't know. It is just wild to think about that. Like, why does that work? Why does it take that to have all those experiences, and yet there's still people that have paranormal experiences while they're awake?
Mm-hmm.
But it really is. I don't know, but it just makes me think of you were talking about how we would go right back into the same thing. That's only happened to me a couple of times, and one of them was that one time I talked about before with Logan, my cat, where I found myself back in a trailer where I used to live, and where my brother used to live after that, and but I didn't recognize any of the furniture, and I saw my cat sitting right next to me, and I went to pick her up and get out of there because I knew I wasn't supposed to be there, and she bit me in the arm, but it didn't hurt like I thought it was going to, and I started to wake up. Everything started to fade, and I started to wake up, but then I didn't wake up fully, and I found myself back in there again. And every time I found myself back in this trailer, it was getting a little bit darker outside. And one time I heard movement in the back of the trailer, and another time I saw a vehicle, like a truck, pull up to the front of the trailer. So like I was thinking, am I gonna be seen at some point? And so, but it was just so weird that it took like 6 or 7 times of Logan like, hey, get out of there, let's get out of here. What are you doing, human? Like, and before I finally was able to wake up and stay awake. So
And
I don't know.
it's one always questions. We don't. One of some of this stuff, is like we really, you know, true know all the answers, and maybe till we get to the other side, or even then, I don't know. Um, even then, will we truly know?
Yeah, I wonder about that too because it's not like we hear, we when people have experiences with loved ones that have passed, it's not like they're all told the same thing. Like you don't hear every single person that has had a visit from a loved one where the loved one says, "This is how the afterlife works. This is where where we are. These are the." You don't hear that. You get all kinds of responses, and they're rarely about that afterlife, from what I've heard. You may get a little bit once in a while. Someone will mention, I'm happy here, or I'm still like going through the process of like. There was one story I found from someone who had a visitation from, I think it was their mother. Yeah, I think it was their mom. Yeah, where they found themselves with their mom who had passed away, and in this apartment that they didn't the person didn't recognize, and their mom was there who had just passed, and someone else was with them, and their mom said something like, you wouldn't believe all the paperwork, like, and implying like the afterlife. There's, I mean, obviously, I don't think it's actually physical paperwork, but the idea that there's this process that this person was going through, and that's the analogy they gave. So there's no unified answer or message from all the visitations that people have had. It's
I've
just
heard
not
some
there.
people say like uh, the possibility, like we all, everybody has their own deities and gods,
Yes.
um and they're all near death experiences, and they see their own, so they get like they're all um maybe heaven's is a huge place, and each deity has his own room where it brings people in, like, all right, here we're this part we're here, and each
Yeah.
one has their space in heaven, because you hear stories of people talking about that, each
Oh
one
yeah.
is. And um but yeah, I curiosity, I wonder, if somebody like really like, you ask, a lot of times you hear, I've never heard nobody do this, and if they have, James, you probably heard, but it just popped in my head. It's like, somebody actually like, you know, having a deep like hey conversation, maybe even with a spirit box or something like that, and trying to, but have and ask the hard questions of like, not just like who you are or whatever, and then to go on your way, like, hey, you know, what's it like over there? What's going on? What's
Yeah. I haven't
um,
heard of that with like actual devices. I've heard of people who had experiences where they ask that, and usually that's the thing. Usually they don't get very many, you know, excuse me, very many straight answers, if anything. You know, the most they'll get, like I said, is sometimes they'll be told, well, I'm here, I'm still here, but it's not, like I'm okay wherever we're at, and that they don't say a name, they don't call like the afterlife heaven, or they don't, So yeah, there's no, there doesn't seem to be any clear answer, but I do think, and I wonder about this, is if you think about all the different cultures in the world that have existed for cultures and religions and just societies, and if there's so much that seems to be the paranormal is connected to our thoughts and our minds and our views on things. I do wonder if there isn't just one afterlife. There are different versions for each belief system in a way, because of all the people that have already passed on, that have maybe sort of established that. And this is not something I know. For anyone that's um, thinking I'm saying I know this, no, I don't. And for anyone that has a view on things, that's fine. I'm not telling you all what to think. I'm just
Just
saying,
throwing it out there. Whoop.
yeah, I do wonder because you hear about that. People say that I have heard in rare cases people say, well, you know, I'm in I'm in heaven. And this is a great place. It's rare. I don't hear that all the time, but it does happen here and there. And sometimes a person's afterlife seems to be staying in a place that they loved, that they cared for, and that's where they're seen. And it's not so much that they're stuck there. It seems like they want to be there, and that to me is
Mhm.
also fascinating.
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder if it's like you hear, you know, limbo. You get caught in limbo, whatever, or and then like even like biblically, you get it talks about, um, Jesus comes back and and he brings everybody up and and opens up the graves and everybody flies up. It's like I've always wondered that scripture and it's always scratched my head on it. And having the rapture, why is he having to come back and you know and bring the people? So it's like is it like people are sitting in a limbo right there waiting for to get to that point?
Yeah.
It's been always my one of my questions, like and I went wants to know I went to you know bunch of you know Baptist Southern Baptist Christian school most of my education and stuff, and so I had lots of scripture pounded into me, and I used to be really good at quoting a lot of stuff, but um, I always curiosity on that. It's always been one of my questions, and then of course especially in that background, if you question anything, they just kind of look at you and why are you questioning this, but I
Right.
wonder, you know, because it talks about him come back down and all the spirits, they pulled them from the graves and stuff like that. It's like, why are they there? Why are they?
Yep.
So it's like they're still here, and it could be, and that's, why we have ghosts and wandering spirits because they're sitting there hanging out, just waiting on the time. Like, hey, we're hanging out here, and um, and then I said, maybe some of it is, where somebody wants to, they do like you see that like somebody built a house and they poured their soul into a place,
Yep.
literally, and they're still there because that's where they love, and then you hear stories about, when somebody starts renovating the place, and that's when they start really acting a fool, and and I've heard, I know you have too, I've heard stories of where people had to sit down. Hey, look, this, if I don't do this, the house is going to fall down. This house you love, it's
Yeah.
going to fall down. I gotta fix some of this stuff up. This wood is rotted. Look, let me do this to help your house continue to live. And they, sometimes it actually alleviates the situation, and they like, oh, okay, it kind of lets them know, hey, wait a minute, you're right. And it's, I had noticed the stuff. I haven't been keeping up with the upkeep, I guess,
Right.
after
I've
my
also
passing, I haven't been
yeah.
keeping up with this stuff, and so I've seen that, and I mean, and of course they still hear stuff, and they would still hear, but it wasn't the, you know,
Yeah.
interference of work kind of thing, um,
Yeah.
so
Tools
it's,
missing, that kind of stuff.
oh yeah, yeah,
That can
tools
happen.
missing, moved,
Yep.
stuff unplugged, wait a minute, how's it, go to try to use a saw and damn saw's unplugged kind of thing, it's, um, uh, you know, kind of, just things that, makes me go, I don't
Yeah.
know.
There's also I've heard in rare cases of people who like when activity started like that in that kind of situation, they had this feeling like if they gave if they sort of laid out the options for some of the renovations or for like some of the decorations, like literally putting out this or that, and like asking for a sign as to what the spirit there, the other person there, non-physical person there, liked better, they would get responses and they would go with that choice, and the activity would calm down because they got sort of the approval and they cooperated with else was there, and I think that's really fascinating too.
Hmm. I saw Mr. Willie, Willie's Desert Hangout. If y'all need to hear some cool music and stuff, and there's a laid back channel on YouTube. You check out Willie's Desert Hangout. Um, but he said that he believed that the afterlife will be joining the collective souls as one. But he said, but he was raised Catholic and has always questioned the concept of the heaven and hell. So
Right.
you know, I believe, I believe the, I didn't question heaven and hell when I was in school. When especially I was getting taught. Later on, after finding out, like a lot of the dogma of hell came in, like the Middle Ages and stuff like that. The way that we know it now, the demons and like especially like the 7 layers of hell and all that. It actually, we didn't actually start hearing that kind of thing, until like the Middle Ages. So when they're trying to scare people, so
Right.
made me kind of, not that I question it, but it's just like, I wonder how much of it, is propaganda. You know, everybody uses propaganda. Government uses propaganda. Churches, UFO enthusiasts, everybody. You know,
Yep.
um, ghost adventures. you know,
uh,
I'll everything. And you can have any kind of platform or theme or whatever, and you're gonna have some propaganda or something like that pushing the narrative. And so, I've questioned that part with the rapture. It coming up, bringing the souls up. I always questioned that. I didn't understand that. If we went to when we died, we went to heaven. Then why is he pulling, opening up the graves when he comes back? You know.
yep. And I mean, to me now, with everything I've looked into and all that, it just makes me wonder. So, where does reincarnation fit in to all of that?
I,
This is the thing. If you look at all the possible ideas, they there's no easy way to like put everything together and say this all works together just fine, and here's how it does. No, not really. I mean, other than to say maybe all these places, all these things exist, but even then, that still leads you to, well, how and why, you know? So, yeah,
yeah,
it's nothing but
yeah,
questions, really.
yeah. They all, do they all coexist together side by side? I
Right,
wonder because I got I got three stories. I talked about it. I think 2 weeks ago. I think on that first show we did on this on Sunday, and I got some. I still haven't recorded them yet, but I got some shorts of for real life stories of reincarnation where the people knew, like one person like was able to convict a murderer over it, and find his killer when he was and because his testimony was so everything was right on the money of everything else, they actually took his 4-year-old child's testimony and convicted the murderer over it.
right,
um, it's some of the stories you hear, and then like um, and they had posted, they had a bunch of shows and stuff like that. Like I said, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago,
yeah,
and um, I question now. I wonder that because you hear you hear these kids, you hear kids talk about this, and a lot of people are like, well, this is kids' imagination, but then when they able to reaffirm and like, oh no, look, this and this and this, um, like that one story I told, that his old family showed up in a car, and he's like, well, where's my Fiat, why
right,
aren't you driving it? And they're like, how does this 4-year-old kid know he used to drive a Fiat? Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. There's so many questions, and I think
yeah,
I think we can truly find truths in a lot, in um, many
yeah,
places with the right mindset of and because when you really look into it, a lot of religions say the same thing and talking about for especially for how you're supposed to act with people and stuff like that. There's
right.
some that you know and this makes you go
Yeah, I think some. It's yeah. It's I also wonder too, like when people have visitation experiences with loved ones that have passed, and they may have a few of them. It just makes me think of my own situation where I had a few visits from my grandma over the course of a few years, but then after that, like it's been years now since I've had one, and I just wonder, you know, is that because she has also now reincarnated? Is that why these things only happen for so long, and then sometimes they usually stop after a while? If a person gets multiple at all, a lot of people don't. They just get one visit. Um, and so I wonder, is that because there's it's of the whole idea? And I do think that we should be able to cover these ideas and talk about these possibilities and maybe consider they could all be existing without again the dogma and the sort of the I don't want to say hatred, but I mean I guess the disagreement, the disrespect that some organized religions. I don't think really the religions themselves, but the organizations in some cases that they have for each other. I don't think that's necessary. I think we need to look at everything you know and see what we can figure out, and but also be okay with not being able to figure everything out.
yeah, we're not gonna be able to figure everything out for sure. We're just it's it's not to deter. I agree, Mr. Duffy. I was sitting there. He's talking about you used to be able to follow links and stuff like people's channels and stuff on YouTube, and you click on there. Now you can't do that. You gotta
Mm.
go around about, and sometimes it's hard to find. Somebody if you're chatting with somebody and they got channels. It's hard on YouTube. Rumble is nice. You click on the thing and go straight there and hit. It's easy. I wish YouTube would go like Rumble on that. There's some things I hate about Rumble, but that's one thing I do like. You can drop links in the description. You can drop links in the chat, and you can uh, you can find other like-minded people and follow channels
Yeah.
and stuff with ease. It's um, Lucy. Um, I got Sweets or Indy. Like on Wednesdays at. I don't know where Sweets is today. She must be working. She was there
Could be.
first thing when we were on the other before the whole mix-up, but I haven't seen her since then. Well, they're usually dropping links. I know Indy will drop links of everybody's channels and stuff like that. But I agree,
Yeah.
YouTube sucks sometimes, no doubt.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know. But get back what we were talking about is Shadow, stop grabbing my arm. You know, I think we're just always going. It's we're always going to have them questions. We're going to have those um you know, and it. What I was going to say before I got my ADD brain kicked in, it's just because you can only ask questions and you won't get a definite answer on some things. I don't mean you should not ask it questions.
Yeah.
Um, uh, you should ask questions. I question everything. Uh, it's my mindset across the board.
Oh yeah.
Religion, politics, history. You know, everything is like history and all that. How the history was written by the victors. So there's always a different mindset on each side. Oh yeah, we're here. We're freedom. And then you find out
Yep.
later they're terrible, terrible. When you find out the history on the other side, and when you hear you finally find something that they dug up shows the other side of the coin.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
so
Yep. Well, that was fun having talking with Ray K there tonight.
yeah, yeah, I'm glad she's able to. She um, able to come on, and well, I'm sure we'll be back and forth. That's why crazy cat. Um, I love this group. You know, we all um, help each other. You know, between the Trouble Minds, you know, we got Nicest Storm, like for your channel, for mine, so many. Um, Brother Willie there, and so many others. You know, we got just everybody. You know, spreads each other out and shows like, hey, look, you know, this person's have a channel tonight. You know, tells people about it. It makes it hard because there's so many now. Like it's so many, our
Oh
family
yeah.
getting big, and it's hard to keep up with everybody.
Oh, I can't. I've never been able to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I won't. I can't say Mr. Duffy. He said I'll get censored. So what we're gonna do Wednesday, there, Mr. Duffy? We're just gonna get censored for sure on Wednesday. It'll be all right. So again, like Mr. Duffy coming on, he gonna come Bigfoot Wednesday. So make sure Bigfoot Wednesdays. We're gonna have Bigfoot Wednesday. Um, Wednesday night. So make sure y'all are coming back for that for sure. You know, but yeah, it's hard to keep up with everybody. I feel bad, but I'm like, man, I want to get to
Oh
this
yeah.
person channel on this, and I got this going on. It's like, you know, and then of course you got algorithm on Tuesdays, um,
Yep.
indie indie independent united on Mondays,
Me on Mondays and
Brothers Days Waffle House 5 days a week
yeah.
on the
I
YouTube. He is
I do
lurking.
four
He's been
usually
lurking.
on.
I
That's
appreciate
good.
him. He's on the other side of
Yeah.
that pond, and it's early in the morning for him. So I always much love to him
Yeah,
for
definitely.
lurking in the background. And he always, I can, and it's not one of them things I appreciate about Dave. I'm gonna shout him out. I'm gonna boost him up right now, make him feel good. It's like I could be lurking on his channel, and he'll turn around and like, "Hey, Ricky's on tonight, y'all." You know, he won't even know I'm there. You know, but he'll still shout the channel out and let people know that hey, he's there. And I'm like, you know, I appreciate him for that. So we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun Wednesday. Let's see. Of course, like I said, this group. We're all trying to help each other grow, and that's what again. You know, we're all building everybody up. We're here to everybody get big. You know, not just one of us. We all want to just come up and we're having fun. That's the main thing. We're having fun.
Yep.
Um,
And I appreciate having the opportunity to be like on Trouble Minds. When I call and sit in there, and then when you talk about starting this thing, I I'm glad that worked out where I could sit in here and so I like doing that whenever I can.
yeah, yeah, it's nice, and I know it helps you for sure. You know, and I'm glad you were
Yeah.
able to do this, and um, yeah, hopefully Trouble Minds maybe next couple weeks. I don't know. Is Mr. Strange still lurking back there? He could give us an update or something, but um, so he should be coming back soon, and if he does, I still want to do the Sunday show. We'll just when he comes on, we'll go rate him.
Yeah.
Um, so um, that's the goal.
Yep.
That's the goal we're gonna have is we get done, and if he starts to take off, we'll we'll cut off and go his way, and we can all get on there. And so I don't want to take people from over there or make people like, oh, I can't, I got to choose, I got to choose.
Yeah. And I
Uh,
do want to say too, real quick, for anyone that listens here to Ricky's channel, you know, obviously I'd love to hear experiences here, but if you ever want to, if you're into Discord at all, you think you can, you're already on there, or it's not too bad once you get used to it. If you ever want to be on another show and just talk about your paranormal experiences, you're always welcome on mine as well. And it's Salsido Paranormal, as it says in the screen there, and happy to do that. So um, I don't get to reach out as much as I like to, and so anyone here that wants to do that, just let me know. Through Discord or through my email, which is pretty easy. It's just salsidoparanormal@gmail.com, and we can work something out.
Like I said, his link's in the description there for his website. So yeah, check it out. He's got merch too. So yeah, if you got some stories you want to come tell, um, and that's cool, Carl. It's always cool to see your first duck race over there on Dave's Waffle House. It's funny. Um, yeah, it's a good. He shows serious stuff a fun way, So he be talking about some serious subject, but like I say, he's having fun doing it. So it's pretty cool, And just the chat over there is everybody's real friendly and everybody's really good. Like I say, much love to all them. But yeah, James, you got any shout outs? I think I'm gonna wind this up today. I think I had.
Yeah.
What do you,
Well, just all the chat. Thank you all for being here because I can't watch, but I appreciate everyone who is able to listen in and chat and all that, and of course Ricky for having me on. And yeah, just if you're ever looking for another podcast to listen to, Salsido Paranormal, salsidoparanormal.com, and you can check everything out from there. And listen in live on my Discord server. I have links to that and the website and all the episode descriptions as well, where you can listen in live on my Discord server. That's where I record. And I usually record Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, unless something happens and I need to take a night off or something else is going on. Like I said, I may join you on Wednesday. We'll see what happens when I get there. When we get there, Ricky.
yeah, I
Um,
understand. I know.
but yeah, so just you're all welcome to listen to my show and contribute as you like. So thank you.
Thank you for being here and 3 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm trying to make things just trying to grow and add the content, for people to listen um, you know, I got like I said, I got guests lined up. It is you know it's fun. I got some cool guests lined up. Like I said, Mr. Duffy with Bigfoot's Wednesday. Um, Following Sunday, um, I got a guy was ex-military, kind of he couldn't tell his wife where he was. Very, you know, very ops. He got some pretty cool stories and stuff like that.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I got Scott Holter coming that following Wednesday on the 14th. He's got an awesome come from behind story. Plus, he's real big into all the conspiracies and stuff like that. But just hearing his story alone is powerful. Um, he was on the bottom, and I let him tell it, and how he bounced back. So yeah, Mr. Duffy said he's got some good paranormal Bigfoot stories to tell. So it's gonna be fun Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, I got several others. I got people reaching out. I ain't gonna leave all my cats out. I'm gonna keep a few of my cats in the bag, so it would be some surprises and stuff. But I got some really good ones coming up. Just got to work on some scheduling details and stuff like that. And and it's all across the board. We got paranormal stuff and other paranormal shows coming on. To all across the board of a little bit of everything, which is what I love about my channel, doing everything on all sides of the board, and we're gonna keeping on doing it. So I appreciate all y'all. Much love. I appreciate y'all coming back each week and listening to my rambling, and appreciate y'all listening to James today. And hopefully might have a full crew. We'll see. We'll see if we got a full crew Wednesday. We might have Jamie and Dave plus Mr. Duffy. So it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And for James, if you can pop in, come on. If you're able to, you can come on through too. It's gonna be fun.
Sounds good.
But let's hit the little outro. Everybody seem I gotta get this show outro music. I haven't figured out. I haven't done that yet. I'm working on all that. So, but I like this outro. Everybody likes the song, and much love to y'all. Y'all be good. See you. Outro. Here we go.
Shackles, don't want no shackles on me. Don't want no shackles, don't want no shackles on me. I sat down with Big Brother, don't like those RFIDs. Got the blues about my freedom. Got the blues about tyranny. I got the blues about my freedom. Got the blues about tyranny. I sat down with Big Brother and the national ID. Don't want a chip in my wallet, chip in my car. And if I want to travel, it's nobody's business how far. Don't want no shackles, don't want no shackles on me. I said shame on Big Brother, always tracking and tracing me. Don't want a chip in my mother, chip in my wife, a chip in my babies. Stay out of our life. Don't want no shackles, don't want no shackles on me. I sat down with Big Brother, no more slavery. Play it for me, baby. Now, do you want a chip in your forehead, a chip in your arm, always tweaking your brain and causing you harm? Don't want no shackles, don't want no shackles on me. I sat down with Big Brother in the good old USA. I sat down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother. Don't want a spy chip in me. Everybody, I sat down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother. It's all about liberty.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.